ते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। श्रीमतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तनम हृद्यन्तस्य भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी सर्वशास्त्रादि पीयूष सर्ववैदिक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाद्य सर्वलौकिक दृक्पद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवतो प्रभु कलिद्वन्द्वोतिदादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते सर्वद सर्वसेवाय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। मद एक बंधु मद संगेन मद गुरुन् मद महाधना मद निस्तारक मद भाग्य मद आनंद नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधु तादा इन अति नीच ताकरा हा ना मुंचा कदाचिन मां प्रेम न हृत कंथयो स्फुरः। O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. By your recitation, one attains transcendental bliss because your syllables shower down pure love of God. You are to be served by everyone, always, for you are an incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, compassion and sorry, O my only friend, companion and teacher, O my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer my respectful obeisance to you. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Accompanied by pure love of Krishna, please manifest yourself in my heart and throat. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Can you hear me okay? Okay, so we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter number 20. And chapter 20 is titled Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So we discussed this flow of the Srimad Bhagavatam last time, that how, like primarily in the third canto, we have been discussing this entire aspect of creation. right? And we talked to the entire aspect of creation, starting even from uh, Pradhan, Mahatattva, and then the entire chart which we are going to review today. And then coming all the way to the demigods, coming all the way to Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and then from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Brahma taking birth, and how Brahma he actually created different. First, starting he created with the four Kumaras, then um, and Lord Shiva, then all the 10 Prajapatis, all those he created. And then finally, after the whole creation, he was saying, like, I need to create progeny. And then he created Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. Right? So the first progenitors of mankind. And these two were actually totally qualified to create the further population. Right? So it is Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. And then they had 5 children, 3 daughters and 2 sons. Right? Akuti, Prasuti, Devahuti, and the 2 sons are Uttanapad and Priyavrata. Right? So 5 children. And basically now all the way until fifth canto is basically reading about these 5 children. Right? So in this canto, we'll be reading about Devahuti, one of the daughters. The next canto, we start off by Akuti and then go to Prasuti. Right? We talk about them. And then we come to Uttanapad, the son. And then in fifth canto, we talk of Priyavrata. So our entire fourth canto and also fifth canto is actually about these 5 sons. But then when we are actually discussing this entire flow, uh, like Swayambhuva Manu is appeared, right? He is born from Brahma, but when he is actually born, he's thinking that, yeah, I can create further progeny, but I need a place where the progeny will actually be there. And then he was thinking like, oh, I see that the earth is actually submerged in the lower waters in Garbhodak ocean. And he approaches Brahma and he says, Brahmaji, the earth is down there. I cannot do anything. You please do something. You place the earth back in its original position, and then I will continue my seva of creating progeny. Right? So Brahma actually thinking about this, and he was contemplating, how can I do this? The earth is fallen in the Garbhodak ocean. How can I have it, how can I place it back in its original position? And when he was just contemplating in this way, then from his nostril, Varahadev appeared. Right? So he was initially the size of a thumb, like, so, just appearing from the nostril, and then he grew to a very big size. Right? And Brahma and all the other sages and the higher sages of the higher planetarism, they were surprised to say, like, who is this form? Is this actually Vishnu who's appeared to, lift the earth? And then when Varahadev actually roared, just by hearing the roar, they understand that this has to be our Lord Vishnu. Right? And then they actually chanted prayers in glorifying this Varahadev and said, you are actually Yagya Purusha. Your entire body, though it is in the form of a boar or a pig, your body isn't this, but actually your body is actually embodiment of Yagya. It is not any ordinary body, it's completely transcendental. And that way they glorify Varahadev. And then Maitreya Rishi describes that how this Varaha, he actually goes, he picks up the earth and places in the orbit. But also at the time he mentions about how Varaha actually killed Hiranyaksha. Right? And then from that, the entire story, actually, so a story was flowing. All of a sudden, there's a tangent, right? Because actually the Hiranyaksha, what was mentioned in the first Manvantara, who actually appeared to this, he did not kill Hiranyaksha because Hiranyaksha was not even there at that time. But that killing of Hiranyaksha was later during the day of Brahma, during the sixth Manvantara. Right? But Maitreya Rishi, since he was talking of Varaha, he mentioned this. So immediately Vidura is asking like, okay, Hiranyaksha, who is this personality? And then the entire story. So in the last chapter, what did we discuss? How Varahadev actually finally he kills Hiranyaksha. So that entire 6, 7 chapters is a kind of a tangent, right? Where because Maitreya Rishi talked of Varahadev killing Hiranyaksha, he explained the whole thing. Who is Hiranyaksha? Jaya Vijay, they are cursed. And then last chapter we actually saw how Varahadev he was playing with Hiranyaksha, right? Just like a child may play with a toy. And then finally, when he decided, okay, now it's time to kill, all he did was he went and he hit on the below the ear. And as soon as he hit that, that's it. Hiranyaksha was killed. Right? And then towards the end of the chapter, we read about the Falashruti, right? So this is one way you can say the first of the Dasha avatars, which have actually been explained in detail, Varahadev, right? And then towards the end of the chapter, we see how it is described that Suta Goswami was talking to Shonak Adi Rishi, that how Vidura, he felt so much transcendental bliss hearing these pastimes of Varahadev, right? And right. And then the Falashruti was anyone who hears, who chants, who takes pleasure in this narration will be relieved from all sinful results, right? And and we discussed this point that every time we come together to study Srimad Bhagavatam, it's actually one way we are studying. Like, okay, maybe you may thinking I'm doing Bhakti Vaibhav course, or it's like okay, it's good we have to study Bhagavatam, but actually, what's happening while we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam? All the sinful reactions in our heart is getting washed away. And at the same time, our love for Krishna is actually manifesting in the core of our heart. Yasyam vai shriyamananam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhakti Utpadate Pumsham. Bhakti is actually getting manifested in the core of our heart. And then all the sinful reactions, Shoka, Moha, Bhaya, everything is getting washed away. So, the study of Srimad Bhagavatam is so powerful. Right? Okay, so that's up to this point. So we have completed the tangent. Now we are coming back to the story and we'll continue the aspect of creation. Okay, so this chapter is titled Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. Okay, so let's start. Any questions, any comments at this point? The flow of Bhagavatam, I hope it's okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The children of Swayambhuva Mano and Shatarupa, the first, we are discussing the daughters first and then the sons. Is it because they were born first? Are they discussed in the order of their birth?
Not necessarily. And then we'll see to that point because it'll come in the next conversation that why he starts talking of Devahuti first. And the relationship there is actually he starts off talking about Kardam Muni. And it is actually explained that how Kardam Muni, so he had created all the sons, and he was the best of all. And then he starts talking of Kardam Muni, and then he says, oh, his wife was Devahuti. And then the Kapila Dev, that incarnation starts. So it was more actually going through Kardamuni that Devahuti story actually comes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And also, I see a question in the chat. Any specific reason why Varaha was born from the nostril of Brahma? It's interesting, like, Bhagavatam, at least I didn't see that part, but you can see that how Varahadev is actually said that how does he find the earth, which is actually submerged in the ocean? He smells the earth. He goes down, he smells, okay, where is the earth? Imagine if in a vast ocean you want to find like an island. It's not easy. But Varaha uses his smelling power. So that way it says that, he appeared from his nostril. But, that's just a connection I'm making. But I have not seen why he appeared from his nostril. But Lord is Swarat, right? Independent. He'll appear from any part of anyone. Right? So, okay. Okay, so let's start off text number 1. So there are 53 shlokas. Let's see the time. Actually,
So, Prabhuji, question. What was the scene when I don't know about Maitreya and Vidura meeting, right? At what point did they meet or what was the scene at that time?
yeah, probably you joined this series late, but in third canto in the starting, there was a whole discussion. Starting of third canto, how Vidura, actually he went, he didn't want to fight the war. We'll talk about that today also. So he left, right? He left Dhritarashtra and then he went for traveling to holy places. And there he actually meets Uddhav. And Uddhav he meets and he starts talking with Uddhav, and Uddhav is right there, and he's actually come to the point that that Krishna is ready to leave. So one way he's actually sad and he's actually missing the association of Krishna, and then in that mood of separation he's there, and then Vidura comes and they have this conversation, and then Uddhav mentions that actually Krishna mentioned about you, Vidura, before leaving, right? And then Vidura says, "Oh, Uddhav, please become my guru. I want to hear more about you. I want to hear the entire Uddhav Gita from you. But what does Uddhav say? But they'll say that, no, come on, you're senior to me, So if I become your guru, it is like, what was the word that's used? Vyatikrama, right? Maryada Vyatikrama. It's not proper etiquette. So actually, when Krishna was talking to me, who was present? Maitreya Rishi. So you go to Maitreya Rishi, who's in Haridwar, and you can hear the same conversation which happened between me and Krishna. And so he goes to Maitreya, and that's how the meeting. So it's all in the third canto starting. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's continue. So text number 1. Okay. Let's go.
Shonaka uvacha mahim pratishtam adhasya sote swayambhuvo manuhu kanyan vattishtat dvarani margavyavara janmanam.
So we see the word to word. It says Sonak Uvacha. So even in the last chapter, towards the end, who was speaking? So Vidura Maitreya conversation was going on. Then we came one scene out, right? And Shaunak Rishi is actually speaking. So we are continuing Sonaka Uvacha. And he's saying Mahim Pratishtam. So Pratishtam, just we can make a Mahi is the earth. Pratishta, after it was established, then what happened? Kani Swayambhuva Manu. What did Swayambhuva Manu do? Right? So we can see. And then Dwarani Margaya Avara Jangama, to show the way to get out of the cycle of birth and death. It's so interesting. Then when he's asking the question, he's saying that, okay, now the earth is established, and now Manu is actually going to continue the procreation. But Manu's task is not only to procreate, but also to show the people, to show all the mankind how to get out of this material world. And hence he's actually written this book called Manu Samhita. Manu Samhita is basically the law book for mankind. And Prabhupada, when disciple asked Prabhupada, where can we get this Manu Samhita? It is so, it is such an important book that Manu himself has written as a law book for all of us. Prabhupada said, Manu Samhita, if you see, you'll faint. It is so detailed and also so fine that we are so far from that culture that Prabhupada said you will not. So just focus on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's it. That's our perfection we have. And Chaitanya Charitamrita for sure.
Okay.
So, yes. So the main point that Prabhupada focuses in the purport is how when Krishna actually, he creates this material world to give each one of us a chance to get out. And not only that, he arranges through his agents like Swayambhuva Manu to give us these books to actually get out, right? To get out of this material world. And hence, Sonak Rishi's question is so wonderful that he's asking, what did he do so that people can actually get liberated? Okay, translation. Who's let's see the chat.
Shri Shonaka inquired, O Sutta Goswami, after the earth was again situated in its orbit, what did Swayambhuva Manu do to show the path of liberation to persons who were to take birth later on? Hare Krishna.
Right. So Prabhupada says it is understood here that Manu creates scriptural regulations for the liberation of all living entities. So that is the Manu Samhita. Okay. So Prabhupada also goes on and says the Lord is so kind. And we turned away from the Lord. And the Lord has actually said, okay, you turned away from me. Here, go to this place. Like sends us to material. But not only that, he sends his book. He sends people. He says like, okay, this is the way to come back. Text 2.
Text 2. Kshata Maha Bhagavata Krishnasya Surit Yastatya Jagrajam Krishne Sapatyam Aghavan iti.
And so let's see Shata Vidura. Shata we have seen previously also Shata is referring as the name of Vidura. So next 3 verses is glorifying the qualities of Vidura. Why is this? Now we have seen again and again in Srimad Bhagavatam. If someone wants to hear someone's conversation, what do? They glorify and say like, Vidura, such a great devotee. Maitreya, such a great personality. So certainly their conversation is worth hearing. Please tell me what they are going to speak further. So he has to glorify Vidura. And also it is the nature of a Vaishnava. A nature of a Vaishnava is he does not miss any opportunity to glorify another Vaishnava. Right? He's looking for, this is a quality of a Vaishnava. Let me glorify that. So now there's an opportunity. So he glorifies Vidura. And he says, Mahabhagavata. Shata Mahabhagavata. Who is Mahabhagavata means? He's a great devotee of the Lord. Right? And then further, Krishnasya Krishnasya aikantiki. So Krishnasya aikantiki. Aikantiki means one. He is an unalloyed devotee, unalloyed, that one-pointed devotee of Lord Krishna. Right? He is that only Krishna is his shelter. Ekantiki. Right? Then he's Surit. Surit means an intimate friend of Krishna. Right? I was actually hearing Prabhupada in his class. He said, like, there are so many words for in Sanskrit to actually indicate friend. Um, to indicate the friend. So he talks of bandhu, mitra, right? But he says surit is a very special word. And he says surit means that kind of friend who's always thinking of how can I benefit my other friend. He's always thinking, and that's Surit. Krishna is a Surit. Why? Because he's seated in the heart as Paramatma, and every moment he's actually saying, "Oh, this is my friend. This Jiva, he's me, he's my friend. He's my own Amsha." And he's always thinking, "How can I get this Jiva back to me? How can I get every moment?" Right, Surit. So here Vidura is described as Surit. He's an intimate friend of Krishna, and then further he says, "Tatyaja agrajam." Right. What does this mean? Okay, so Tatyaja agrajam sa apatyam. Right? So he actually abandoned his elder brother along with sa apatyam, along with his 100 sons. Right? And Krishna aghavan iti. Right? So aghavan, this is a word, offender. Right? So Prabhupada stresses on this word, offender. So basically, this last part, so we read, okay, he's a great devotee, great Mahabhagavata, right? Then he's unalloyed, his one-pointed devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. Surit, his intimate friend. And fourth is, he abandoned his elder brother with his 100 sons because they offended Lord Krishna. Right? And what is the scene? We know the scene, right, from Mahabharata, that after Krishna, like when was the final time when Duryodhan offended Krishna and then Vidura said, that's it? What is that episode of Mahabharata? I mean, yes, he was offending Krishna all throughout, but there was one final time that offense happened, then Vidura said, that's it.
When he came as a peace messenger?
Yeah, when he came as peace messenger, and then Duryodhan planned to capture Krishna.
Hmm.
You know, he planned to capture Krishna. And they knew it. They knew. Vidura knew, and then he said, like, stop. And he told Dhritarashtra, stop your son. He's going to attempt to capture Krishna, then who is not only Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's come as a peace messenger. How can you capture a peace messenger? You know? And then Vidura says, okay, that's it. Then he comes and he tells Dhritarashtra, and he was in the mood that he could not forgive Duryodhan to do that act of capturing Krishna as a peace messenger. And then Krishna anyway shows his Virat Rupa and he leaves. Right? So then he talks to Dhritarashtra, and this is his final. He's repeated this again and again, but this is final talk. He says, you must return Yudhishthir's legitimate share of the kingdom. Yudhishthir is one who has no enemies. He's Ajata Shatru, right? No enemies. And he has, and then he makes a point that he is waiting with his younger brother, among whom is Bhima, who's actually breathing like a snake. Certainly you're afraid of Bhima. He's like ready. He has taken that vow to actually break the thigh of Duryodhan, to drink the blood of Dushasan. Are you not afraid of those personalities? And not only that, he says, Krishna has actually taken their side. Krishna is so dear to them, and Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. What hope do you have to actually fight with Krishna's dear devotees? Krishna is on their side. What hope do you have? And then he actually tells Dhritarashtra, he says, by your inaction, you are supporting offense personified. You know, because Dhritarashtra was like, he wasn't saying no, but he wasn't saying yes to this or no. He was just like quiet, you know, because he didn't want to say anything against Duryodhana. But Vidura is making the point that even your inaction means you're not saying anything, means you are actually supporting offense personified Duryodhana, right? And he actually says, relieve yourself of this ill fortune. Give up Duryodhana for the benefit of your whole family, of your whole lineage, right? And then as soon as Vidura tells Dhritarashtra, give up your own son. Then Duryodhana was there. He couldn't tolerate it. So and he started saying, who asked this person to come here? He's a son of a maidservant. This deceitful Vidura is no friend of the Kurus. From starting, he is being actually showing, partiality to the Pandavas. Kick him out of the kingdom. Imagine Duryodhana is telling Vidura, he's telling Dhritarashtra, they kick Vidura out of the palace. And then after Vidura says, okay, I anyway did not want to fight this war, and never against the Pandava. So this is the opportunity, took his bow, and then he walked, and then as soon as he was leaving the palace, he kept his bow to show the sign that he's neither going to fight for the Kurus nor for the Pandavas, left his door, walked away to a pilgrimage. Right? So here he says, so Prabhupada makes this important point in the purport that Vidura, when that offense to Krishna was performed, he said, no more. I'm not going to tolerate. And Prabhupada makes that should be the mood of every Vaishnava. If someone is offending Krishna or his dear devotees, we should not tolerate it. But if someone does an offense to us, we are tolerant. Right? Titikshava, Karunika. Right? We are Titiksha, we tolerate. Okay, whatever. If he's telling me, yes, that is my fault. I'm so fallen. He's just pointing out my fault so that I can get corrected. Right? But if someone is offending a Vaishnava or Krishna, then one should not stay there. So our Shastra says 3 things we should do. The first thing is someone is offending a Vaishnava, what should we do? We should try to defend. Saying, how can you say like this? How can you speak? When someone is offending Krishna, then you say, no, from the Shastra, speak from the point of Shastra. And Shastra, all these great devotees, Acharyas are glorifying Krishna. How can you speak such ill words against Krishna? You offend, you defend, or even against a Vaishnava as offense. You can say, no, how can you speak? Vaishnava is always such a glorious position. How can you speak like that? So defend. If you are unable to defend, then what do?
You leave the place.
Yeah, leave the place is one option, but also our Shastras say either you leave your body or you cut off the tongue of the other person. Imagine. Our third option is, okay, you cannot do either, you leave the place. So either one. So the main point the Prabhupada stresses is if there is Vaishnava Aprad or Aprad against Krishna, one should not tolerate it. And Prabhupada Krishna is not honored, that place is unfit for human habitation. So we should just leave. I don't care. I'm not going to associate you. If you're an offensive person, I have nothing to do with you. Set away. Right? Okay. So translation.
Hare Krishna. The translation. Saunaka Rishi inquired about Vidura, who was a great devotee and friend of Lord Krishna, and who gave up the company of his elder brother because the latter, along with his sons, played tricks against the desires of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. So next verse.
Text 3. Dvaipayanad anvaro mahitve tasya dehajaha sarvatmana shita krishnam tatparam shapyanurataha.
So Daipaniyat. So what does this mean? Dvaipana is referring to who? Vyasadeva. Dvaipanayat anavaro. Right? So he is no way inferior to Vyasadeva. Why? Because he's son of Vyas. Right? Vidura is direct son of Vyasadeva. So he's no way less than Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva is who? He is actually an incarnation of Supreme Personality of God. So in his Mahima or Mahitve, in greatness, he is no way less than Vyasadeva. And Tasya Dehaja is actually born of the body of Vyasadeva. Right? Then further it says, Sarva Atmana Shritaha Krishna. And with all his heart, Sarva Atmana, he took Shritaha, he took shelter of Krishna. Right? And Tatparan, he was so attached to the devotees of the Lord, and Anuvrataha. Cha api anuvrata. Anuvrata means he followed his instructions wholeheartedly. So this is what all qualities of Vidura we are reading, right? He is born from Vyasdev, so that way he's no less in greatness than Vyasdev himself. Then he actually took shelter of Krishna with his entire heart, and he was attached to the devotees of Lord, and that's why he was always speaking in the favor of Pandavas. And Anuvrata. So this is the key point. Like, if someone says, okay, I love Krishna, how is that actually love shown? By understanding and following the instructions of Krishna. If someone says out of sentiment, yeah, I follow Krishna, I mean, I had conversation of people say, yeah, I love Krishna, but what is wrong? Even Krishna has created wine, so we can drink wine also. People say such things. No, if you love Krishna, you follow the instruction. You understand what is Bhagavad Gita and you follow those instructions. Anuvrata. Okay, translation?
Hare Krishna. Vidura was born from the body of Veda and was not less than he. Thus, he accepted the lotus feet of Krishna wholeheartedly and was attached to his devotees. Hare Krishna.
Okay, text 4.
Him anva prichang maitreyam virajastirta sevaya upagamya kushavarta asinam tattvavitamam.
So Viraja, so Kim Anaprecha Maitreya. So what did this person inquire from Maitreya? Right, his glorification is all coming to the point that, this conversation of Maitreya and Vidura is so worth hearing that we want to hear more and more. That's the whole point Saunakadi Rishi is making. So Kim Anaprachit. So what did he ask from Maitreya? Viraja. Viraja referring to Vidura was without material contamination. So another point glorifying Vidura. He's without material contamination. And Tirtha Sevaya. This is a nice word. Tirtha Sevaya. When you go to Tirtha, what are we doing? It's not sightseeing. When we go to a holy place, we go in the mood of service. When we go to Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, our mood is not like, oh, we'll go and we'll get nice prasadam and we'll have nice fun. Our mood is that of seva. So Tirtha Sevaya, by visiting holy places. And then Upagamya, Kushavrat. He actually met Maitreya Rishi at Haridwar. Kushavrat Varta is Haridwar. And who is Maitreya? Tattva with Tattvam. He is the foremost knower of science of spiritual life. Okay, let's read the translation, and the purport is Prabhupada makes some important points. Let's read the
Hare
translation.
Krishna. Vidura was purified of all passion by wandering in sacred places, and at last he reached Haridwar, where he met the great sage who knew the science of spiritual life. And he inquired from him. Shaunaka Rishi therefore asked, what more did Vidura inquire from Maitreya? Hare Krishna.
I mean, if you're reading Bhagavatam, are you not already burdened with, not overburdened is the right one, but how many questions Vidura has asked Maitreya? It's like first set of questions. And before Maitreya has finished answering the first set, Vidura is like, okay, another set of questions. And before he finishes that, another set of questions. And now Sonak is saying, what more did he ask? It's like, how many questions? So he's like saying, okay, what more did Vidura? I want to hear more. Now, Prabhupada in his purport, he makes interesting point about traveling to holy places. Right? Says Viraja's Tirtha Seva, reference to Vidura, and he was completely cleansed of all contamination by traveling to holy places. And Prabhupada mentioned Prayag, Haridwar, Vrindavan, Rameshwara, they are considered principal. And Prabhupada says these holy places are so powerful that he said that anyone who goes there is automatically purified. Normally we say nothing is automatic in bhakti. But the influence of this dham is so powerful that anyone who goes there will be purified. Like how we say, you go to Vrindavan, you can feel the presence of Lord Shri Krishna in Vrindavan. You automatically get advanced. Because you go to Vrindavan, everyone there is chanting what? Radhe Radhe. Even if you don't want to hear, you'll hear Radhe Radhe. You automatically get purified. Right? And then Prabhupada said, this is especially true in Vrindavan, any person may go there, and even if he's sinful, he will at once contact an atmosphere of spiritual life and will automatically chant the names of Krishna and Radha. Right? So even someone is sinful, he goes, the rickshawala is all saying Radhe Radhe. And he'll know, now if I want to get way, what should I say? Radhe Radhe. Even he'll start chanting the name of Lord. Right? That is the atmosphere of Vrindavan. So even if sinful, at once he comes in contact, he'll automatically chant name of Krishna and Radha. That we have actually seen and experienced, Prabhupada says. And thinking like, what is Prabhupada referring to? I mean, I'm just, like one story that came to my mind is Prabhupada in a lecture talks about this thief. I'm sure everyone knows the story. The thief, he was hearing Bhagavad Katha, and he heard Bhagavad Katha, and then the speaker was talking about how Krishna in Vrindavan, how he's dressed with all these jewels, and Mother Yashoda, how he actually every day decorates him with gems and different stones and pearls, and he heard all this. He's saying like, wow, once if I can steal from Krishna, then that's it. That will be my last steal. I'll have enough opulence for my whole life. I don't have to worry anything more. And he heard, and when the assembly was breaking, he asked, so where is this Krishna? And a person said, Vrindavan. Krishna lives in Vrindavan. He said, okay, Vrindavan. I'll go to Vrindavan. He goes to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, what was his mood? Though he came with that intention of a thief, he is asking everyone, where is Krishna? Where can I find Krishna? Where can I find Krishna? And meditation is always, where can I find Krishna? And finally, because he was so eager to see Krishna, Krishna finally came to him. Prabhupada so nicely explains in his class. Says Krishna came, and the thief asked Krishna, "Oh Krishna, can I get all your earrings and ornaments? You can give them to me." And then Prabhupada, you should hear Prabhupada say this. Prabhupada said, Krishna says, "No, no, no. My mother here will be upset with me." He says in such a nice mood. My mother will be upset. And the thief said, again, "No, no, please give your ornaments to me." And finally, it goes on, and finally Krishna says, "Okay, you can take." And by the time, because of Krishna's association, the thief is already purified. He's already become a devotee. His intention is already purified. So that's the story that came to my mind. But there were other things that Prabhupada is referring to. Then another point that Prabhupada makes in his purport, he says, one must go to a sacred place not only to take bath, but to actually meet saintly people. Right? Which is this verse? Anyone knows this verse? Prabhupada often quotes this verse. 10th canto? Yeah, anyone knows? 10th canto, 84th chapter, text number 13. Yes, यस्यात्मबुद्धि कुनपे त्रिधातुके स्वधे कलत्रादिषु भौम इज्जति यत् तीर्थ बुद्धे शलिले न करिचित. So this one, यत् तीर्थ बुद्धे शलिले न करिचित जनेषु अभिज्ञेषु स एव गोखरः. That person is certainly a cow or an ass. And who is that person? Who goes to holy places merely to take bath in the holy water, but does not take that opportunity to hear from saintly people. That person is almost compared to an ass mentality. When you're going to the holy dham, try to search out for the holy people and get their association. Right? So that's the second point. Now, Prabhupada takes an interesting twist in this purport. He says, Narottam Das Thakur says that for the present, he has for the present forbidden us to go to such places of pilgrimage. I mean, like, how can you understand this? Prabhupada is saying, like, if you go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, he said, every year we should go. And now he's quoting Narottam Das Thakur has forbidden us to go to holy places. Why? Because there, if you see the behavior of the people of the dham, one may get confused. A sincere person may get a different impression on seeing the behavior of the residents of Vrindavan. 1084:13. 84:13. So Prabhupada is making the point. And it's, one may be true. Like if you go to like Jagannath Puri, I mean, now it is less. But before it was so strong. You go into Jagannath Puri temple and immediately the pandas will run to you. And it's like, where are you from? Where are you from? And then they have to say so-and-so village. Oh, come to me. I have your entire lineage. Like they keep these books, with your lineage. I will come write a name and then immediately say, okay, give someone donation. Like when I went this time to Shakshi Gopal temple, last year. And as soon as I entered the temple, oh, the pandas were like the temple is like you enter and deities are right straight ahead. And I was just walking. They said, you cannot go. You have to take this diversion. I said, darshan is right there. You have to take this diversion. No entry. And I had to go this way, all the way to the other side. And other side, what is that? Person is sitting with a receipt book. And say like, so how much is your donation? I mean, like just to take darshan, the deity is right here. I had to go this way. I said, okay, how much you want to donate? And he said, without donation, no, you cannot even pass through. And someone may say like, if you don't have that faith, we'll go and say like, what is this? This is saintly people? This is a dham? So Prabhupada is making the point, and Narottam Das Thakur says, now he says like, he forbids us to go to the holy place because, we may get some different impressions, right? And then he says, anyway, what is the whole point of going to the holy place? One should concentrate one's mind on Govinda. And if one is able to concentrate his mind on Govinda, even here, that place is a dham. But is it possible for us to easily concentrate on the mind of on the lotus feet of Govinda? And then Prabhupada says, well, it is not for ordinary persons. Ordinary persons still go to the dham. So we'll put ourselves in the category of ordinary person and go to the dham as much as possible. So that's our move. There's another, like Prabhupada, even like we have read this before also. Prabhupada in one of the purports, I forgot to write the reference in my notes. You can search this, it's called Tirtha Pada. He says, Lord Govinda is known as Tirtha Pada. Tirtha Pada means, Tirtha means holy place. Pada means lotus feet, right? So the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, that itself is a holy place, right? So if anyone who actually meditates on the lotus feet of the Lord, then he's directly connected with the holy place, with the Tirtha, right? Or Prabhupada makes a point in the purport, if someone is 24 hours a day engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda, that is already Tirthapada. That person is already connected with the Dham. He's already in the Dham. Right? Even previously, we have discussed this point that Prabhupada said that advanced devotees, they don't like to give up their service to actually go to the Dham because they're always engaged in service. Hence, they focus on always serving Krishna. Right? And then Prabhupada further makes a point. He says, and those devotees who are 100% absorbed in service to Krishna, they actually carry Krishna in the core of their heart. And which is the verse which would directly come to our mind at this point? Who are those people who carry the Lord in their heart? Wherever they go, yes. Wherever they go, they create holy places. Prabhupada traveling to the west, new Mayapur Dham, new Jagannath Puri Dham, new Goloka Dham. Right? They are creating these holy places, and that is the power. So our main point is association with these devotees. So wherever we are getting association with these devotees who are always serving the Lord, that is our Tirtha. Right? So that's the mood of Prabhupada. Right? So we can actually consider the point that even we get to the Dham, our main point is to get association of devotees. Go to the Dham, find the devotees who are, Prabhupada says, one has to be intelligent enough to know who is that devotee with whom I should associate, and then take his association in the Dham. So that's right. So Prabhupada says, one has to be intelligent enough to find the actual person to actually take the association, not pseudo-transcendental. Even in Vrindavan, you go, you'll find so many people who may not be at that level. So you have to find a pure devotee, take his association. That's the whole point. Right? Okay. There's one more bhajan actually. You can write this down. Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually says, Mana tumi tirthe sada rata, Ayodhya Mathura Maya Kashi Kanchi Abhidya, Dwarbati or Ar Ache Jata. Share my screen. Let me just quickly share my screen. So this is bhajan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is actually making the same point, but he actually, this bhajan, he tells the main mood of the holy places. Yeah.
Vijay, is it also possible to share the soft copy of the handbook, student handbook?
Yeah, Mati, I'm working on that. I've not completed it. So as
Okay.
soon as it's ready, I will share it. Yeah, I got trying to.
You have ordered the hard copy?
Not yet. Not yet. But maybe next week I'll have it for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so here we can see this bhajan. Mani tume tirtha sadarata, Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, all these holy places. So you see the translation. Mind your mind, you're always attached to different holy places. You want to travel to these holy places again and again, simply for the sake of obtaining liberation from materialism. But we actually see that your heart is not becoming fixed, resolutely fixed by going to this holy place. Therefore, all your wanderings is simply useless labor. And then here is the key point. The ripened fruit and real benefit of any place of pilgrimage is the company of pure devotees of the Lord, right? So we have to establish intimate and friendly relationships with such devotees, and let our mind be captivated by performing the charming worship of Lord Krishna in their association. This is the key point. We go to the holy place and we want to, the mind should be captivated by actually worshipping Krishna in the association of these devotees. Okay. And then he concludes, my vow is to serve Vaishnavas. Okay. So the main point is we have to, if you go to a holy place, we have to search out the association of devotees. Okay. So did we read the translation? I think so, right? Yeah, okay. Text fine. It's okay. Everyone, any point on this?
Rosie, like just wondering when you go to holy places, like everybody will go for 1 or 2 days. Everybody is in a rush. How do we find the saintly people and how do we get their association?
I mean, like for us, Prabhupada has made it so easy. Once we go, let's say Vrindavan, just go Krishna Balaram temple. So many sadhus who actually reside there. Morning Bhagavatam class. Hear the classes. Every day you have one or the other senior devotee giving such wonderful classes. Evening, 5 o'clock, again class. Associate with the devotee, like Prabhupada has made, so we don't even have to like say, okay, who is a Vaishnava, who is not a Vaishnava. Just focus on Prabhupada's, our ISKCON Vaishnav Sangha. You go to Krishna Balaram, Prabhupada said everything there is Krishna Balaram temple. Just be there, especially Vrindavan. You go and you go during Kartik, everywhere you just turn around. Oh, this Maharaj is here, this senior devotee is here, this. I mean, there's no lack of amazing pure devotees to seek association. Just go talk to them, get their association, ask them how they are doing bhajan in Vrindavan, and then see how we can get inspired in our spiritual life.
Thank you so much.
Okay. The next verse.
Text 5. Tayo samvadato sutta pravita yamala kataha apo ganga iva gagnir hare padam bujashrayaha.
Okay, so Tayo Samvadata Sutta. So he's saying, O Sutta, right? He's saying, O Sutta, I want to hear Tayo Samvadata. Samvadata is conversation. The conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. He Amalakatha. So certainly that is Amalakatha. Amalakatha means spotless narration, right? Amala, we are being Bhagavata Amala Purana, right? Spotless narration. And what is the comparison? Eva Ganga. Just like by taking bath in the Ganga, one aghagnihi, right? Agha and Agni. It is like burning away all our agha or sinful reactions. When we take bath in Ganga, what happens? All our pap is washed away. Similarly, by hearing this conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, all our sinful reactions will be washed away. Therefore, please tell me, what did they speak further? What was there? I'm so eager to hear. You please continue. So Prabhupada in the purport, he compares. He says, water of the Ganges is coming from where? Lotus feet of the Lord, right? Narrations about Krishna, where are they coming from? The lotus mouth of the Lord. Is there a difference between the feet and the mouth? Both are transcendental. For Lord, every aspect is transcendental. Like how, so therefore, Krishna Katha, bathing in the Ganges, then, or words spoken by the devotees, they are all on the absolute plane. Therefore, one should take shelter of them to get purified, right? Like Gita Mahatmya, there's a verse, right? Maline mochanam pumsham jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gitamritam snanam samsara mala nashanam. And the translation is, one may cleanse himself daily by taking bath in the Ganga. Maline mochanam pumsham jalasnanam dine dine. And every day we have to take bath. But if one takes bath even once in the sacred Ganga, sacred Gitamritam Snanam, sacred Ganges water of the Bhagavad Gita, then all his dirt for lifetimes is vanquished in one go. One go. That is the power of this Krishna Katha. That just by taking bath in the Ganges like nectar of this Krishna Katha, right? Sacred Gita Amritam Snanam. You have to take Gita Amrita Snana every day. And just by that, all our contaminations will be washed away. Prabhupada also makes a point in the purport. He says, Srila Rupa Goswami has enunciated, anything in relationship with Krishna is on the transcendental plane. If Ganges is coming from the lotus feet or Krishna Katha, it is completely transcendental. And if we dovetail all our activities in relationship with Krishna, we do not stand on a material platform, but always on the spiritual platform. Which verse is Prabhupada referring to here? Rupa Goswami? Anyone knows? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Yukta Vairagya verse.
अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यथाहम उपयुञ्जते निर्बन्धे कृष्ण संबंधे युक्त वैराग्यम् उच्यते. And further it says प्रपंचितकया भक्त्या हरि संबंधी वस्तुना मुमुक्षणे प्रत्यागो वैराग्यम फाल्गुम उच्यते. Right, so this, if you search on Veda base, anasaktasya vishayan, right, that's how it starts. So basically here Rupa Goswami is saying, when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time, so basically the mood of a devotee is what? Vairagya means that he's actually detached from all sense objects. He does not want to connect with all sense objects. But he sees that, oh, this object can be used in the service of Krishna and hence I'm going to use it. That is true renunciation. Not that one actually, he gives up everything. Oh, I don't want to associate with, I don't want to connect with this. Actually, everything belongs to Krishna. So real renunciation is to use everything in Krishna's service. Then anything in relationship with Krishna actually becomes transcendent. Like what example Prabhupada gives? Like often he gives. Like we are using this microphone to speak about Krishna. So his microphone is no longer material because it's being used in Krishna's service. Right? So that is our philosophy. Everything that we are connected to, somehow or other, we want to use that in Krishna Seva. Right? We use a laptop, we use a cell phone, everything we want to use. And that way we spiritualize everything. And that is a secret of Krishna consciousness. Then we are no longer in this material world. Though we are in this world, we are not of this world. Right? That's why sadhus, they are in this world, but where are they living actually? In the Vrindavan Dham. Okay. Translation? Next.
Text 5 translation. Shonika inquired about the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. There must have been many narrations of the spotless pastimes of the Lord. The hearing of such narrations is exactly like the bathing in the water of the Ganges, for it can free one from all sinful reactions.
Okay, text 6.
Tana kirtaya badram te kirtayan yodara karmana rasagya ko nutripyeta hari lilamritam pivan.
326.
Right.
O Sutta Goswami, all good fortune to you. Please narrate the activities of the Lord, all magnanimous and worth glorifying. What sort of devotee can be satiated in by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord? Hare Krishna.
So ta na kirtaya, right? Ta na kirtaya. So please narrate this pastimes, having glorified that this is just like taking bath in the Ganges. Once we take bath, we'll get all purified. So you please narrate these pastimes. Badram te. Now, normally it is, the speaker and the listener. And normally like the speaker while speaking, like in a conversation, like a guru and a disciple, right? As a guru is normally superior position and he is giving blessings to the disciple. But here what is happening? The listener is giving blessings to the speaker and saying, Badram te, all good fortune to you, all blessings to you. Why? Because you have a long life, you speak Harikatha, you give us this, we want that nectar. So all blessings, all good fortune to you, that you please bless us with this Harikatha. Right? And what are the two qualities of Harikatha given here? Kirtaneya udara karmanaha. Right? Karmana is the activity of the Lord. Are udara, magnanimous. Right? Why magnanimous? We discussed this earlier, right? Who is benefited by this Harikatha?
Both speaker and listener.
And
The audience.
And that place.
Right? So three have just like it says when the verses are right, how Ganges purifies all the three planetary systems. Similarly, when Harikatha is happening, the speaker is purified, the inquirer is purified, and everyone else in the assembly is purified. Right? So it's magnanimous. It's like without anyone who comes in contact with Harikatha will get purified. And then the next word is Kirtaniya. Kirtaniya means is word glorified. Actually, there's nothing else worth speaking other than Harikatha. Then further it says, those who are rasagya. Who is rasagya? Those who can relish that rasa, right? Those who are rasagya, ka na triptiyeta. For them, okay, then Hari Lila Amritam Piban. They drink the nectar of the Amrita. Like Piban is drink. They drink the Amrita of Hari Lila and they keep drinking and ka na tripteta. But still they are never satisfied. And which is a verse you can think of drinking?
Pipitam Bhagavatam, Rasamali.
Pivata Bhagavata Rasam Ale.
Rasam.
Okay. Anything else? There's one more verse that we discussed. Pibanti ye Bhagavata Atmana Satam. Anyone remember that verse? Where was that? Pibanti ye Bhagavata Atmana Satam. Let me see 1 minute. I think second canto, right? And someone can find that verse. Oh yeah, 2:37. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam katam mritam shravana puteshu samritam punanti ye vishaya vidushitashayam. Last line. Vrijanti charana saroruhantikam. So that is 2:37. So by drinking, we have to drink this nectar through our ears. And when our ears, which are like cups, are filled with this nectar of Harikatha, then what happens? Two things happen. Punanti ye vishaya vidushitana. All our vishaya, material desires, are punanti, are washed away. And second, vrajanti tat charana sarorihantikam. And we will actually go to Vrindavan, Vrajanti. I mean, there it says we go to the lotus feet of Krishna. So basically the point here, those who are rasagya, who are actually devotees who can appreciate this rasa in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they are never satisfied with this drinking. They want to drink more and more and more and more, right? Like how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, what is our life supposed to be? You drink the nectar, and when you drink something like this so sweet, you'll get intoxicated. You get intoxicated, you faint, and then you get up, you drink more, you get intoxicated, you faint. That's what we have to. We have to become drunkards of Harikatha. So that is our life. We have to just absorb ourselves in this nectar of Harikatha. Right? So here another verse where it talks about this. Vayam tu na vitripyama. Uttama shloka vikrame. Yes shrinvatam rasagya. Again the same word. Rasagyam. Swadu swadu pade pade. We never tire of hearing these Harikatha. Right? And those who have developed the taste, this rasagya. So we have to become rasagya. Somehow we have to get this mood of how can we drink the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. And once we get this taste, Swadu Sadhu Pada, every moment we'll relish this Harikatha and we will not want anything else other than relishing this Harikatha. That's 1119. Okay. So, okay, translation. Let's read.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we read it? Yeah, we did. Okay. Now, I mean, I could go a little bit more in detail here. Like, just
Prabhu, I was just, when you said that how we would glorify the listener is glorifying the speaker, I was thinking, in Guru Puja we sing Ebe Josh Gosho Tribhuvana, right? Could it be the same context? Isn't it?
kind of mood. That it says, may your glories be propagated through all the three worlds. Right? So one way is kind of, in the similar mood. Yes. That's a good point, actually. Okay, so if you can someone read the first line on the purport?
The narrations of the pastime of the Lord, which are always enacted on a transcendental platform, should be received with all respects by devotees.
So now just this one sentence of Prabhupada, there is so much meaning in this one sentence. I was saying one can give a full, at least 1 hour Bhagavatam class on this one sentence of Prabhupada. Right? What is so beautiful about this? He says first, he says, which are always enacted on the transcendental platform. What does that mean? The Harikatha is always enacted on transcendental platform. And one can actually explain the one who is actually speaking Harikatha, he should be free from any mundane interpretations to Harikatha. His mind should be not, not think of, okay, I'm speaking Harikatha, now maybe people will recognize me, I'll get some fame, I'll get some prestige. There should be no mundane aspect touch to the Harikatha. His mind should be completely attached to Guru, Parampara, Lord Shri Krishna, right? And he should actually speak Harikatha with that mercy of the Vaishnavas. Then it is actually on the transcendental. So one can elaborate on this. Second point is, how should one receive it? One should receive this Harikatha with all respect. What does it mean to receive Harikatha with respect? And one can actually say there's this verse where it talks about Jnane Prayasam Udaprasamanta Eva 10:14:3. Right? Jivanti Sanmukha Haritam. So Jnane Prayasam Udaprasa Namanta Eva. Namanta, same point the Brahma is actually making in his prayer, that we should give respects to Harikatha. And there, which Sanatan Goswami in the purport actually explains, how do we give respect to Harikatha? Through our body, through our words, through our mind. BMW. We have to use our BMW in offering respects, right? So what is our body? How do we offer respect? We should actually offer respects to Srimad Bhagavatam. We take our head, we take our hand, and we actually place them on Srimad Bhagavatam and you offer pranam to it, offer respect. How do we offer respects with our words? We actually glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why now Bhadra campaign, we are focusing on that. And every time we speak about glories of Bhagavatam to anyone, irrespective whether that person buys Bhagavatam or not, it is an opportunity for us to offer respect to Bhagavatam. So we are getting and deepening our relationship with Bhagavatam just by speaking glories of Bhagavatam. Right? So that is with our words. And how with our mind? With our mind, every time we are actually turning to Bhagavatam, we should feel great reverence and pleasure when we hear these topics of Bhagavatam. Not that, okay, now I have Bhakti Vaibhav exam. Now I have to pick my Bhagavatam book, which I have not picked for so many weeks. Oh, it is so much work. That is not offering respect to the mind. When we pick up Bhagavatam in the mind, we feel, wow, this is the real nectar that is to be relished. This is my life. And then with that mood, we are actually approaching offering respects with our mind to Srimad Bhagavatam. Body, mind, words. That's how we offer respects to Bhagavatam. Okay, and then further Prabhupada says that the narrations of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam may be read thousands and thousands of times. Still, without fail, new aspects of the subject matter will be relished by the devotee. Right? So what is our goal in life? How many times do we want to read Srimad Bhagavatam in this lifetime? Mataji said 3 times. Okay, at least 3 times. That's good. At least 3, But 3 should be our minimum, entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So read again and again and again. And every time we read Srimad Bhagavatam, every time we'll get newer and newer taste in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the beauty. Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes like even for us as sadhakas, sometimes we feel like, oh, we're hearing a class like, I've heard this before. I want something new. But that's something new is kind of a disease of the mind, because the mind is always like that. You get some object and it's like, oh, old model. Now I want new. That is the material concept of mind. Right? So, how like Jagati Mataji was making this point that when we hear Krishna Katha, we should come and we should get new years. New years. That means like even though we are hearing the topic, we're like, oh no, I'm hearing for the first time. Hare Krishna Mahamandra. I'm chanting as if I'm chanting for the first time. Because every time we chant, every time we hear, there is newer and newer taste in this Harikatha. Like imagine Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit. Every day, 4th canto, 7th canto, 4th canto, 7th canto, 4th canto. Again and again and again. And every time they are reading, tears are flowing from Gadadhar Pandit and Lord Chaitanya. They are washing the text of Bhagavatam with their tears. So that's kind of a disease that, oh, I want to hear new. No, just the same narration you hear again and again, you'll get so much pleasure out of it. Right? So thousands and thousands of times. So, like Jayadeva Swami Maharaj was actually saying that before they actually had goals of how many times they would actually read Bhagavad Gita. Whole Bhagavad Gita. Again and again and again. 100 times, 50 times. There's one devotee who actually, one devotee was telling me about another devotee. He said he's read Krishna book 50 times. And he knows everything by heart. Like he'll actually, like some sections, he will start the sentence and he can finish the sentence for you. That's how much he knows Krishna book. So there's so much nectar we just have to keep, keep relishing it. Okay, next verse, text 7.
Text 7. Evam ugra shava prishta rishibirnai nishayanai bhagavat yarpita dhyatmas tan aha shruyatam iti.
So evam ugra shava. Who is ugra shava? We have heard this word before also. It is another name for Suta Goswami. Right? So actually, what does Ugra Shrava mean? What does Ugra mean? Ugram Viram Mahavishnu. Like a ferocious, right? So Bhima is actually called what? Ugra. What is the word? As a ferocious eater.
Vrukodhara.
Vrikrodhara is one word. Well, I thought there was a word with Ugra also. Anyway, so Bhima is actually considered a ferocious eater. Ugra Shrava. Shrava means hear. Suta Goswami is a ferocious hearer. In the sense, always he hears with such attention, and hence he is actually now become the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. And hence Suta Goswami's name is Ugra Shrava. So he evam Ugra Shrava Prishtaha. So when Suta Goswami was asked, by who? Rishibi Naimi. So all the sages of Naimi Sharanya. Then Bhagavati Arpita Adhyatma. His mind absorbed in Krishna. Such a nice point. When someone asks you a question and before you answer, what do? Your mind should be absorbed in Krishna. You think about the lotus feet of your Ishtadev, Radha Golokananda, Radha Shamsundar. You think your mind should be absorbed, and then Shruyatam iti. Then he said, okay, please hear, I'm going to speak. Okay, translation.
On being asked to speak by the great sages of Naimisaranya, the son of Romaharshana, Suta Goswami, whose mind was absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, said, please hear what I speak now.
Okay. Text 8.
Uta uvacha harerdrita krodatano somayaya nishamya gor udharanam rasatalat Lilam hiranyaksham avagyayahatam sanjata harsho munimaha bharataha.
Okay, so Suta Goswami, Suta Vacha. So Suta is saying, and in one sentence, he's going to summarize the whole pastime in one verse. Harer Dhrita Krodha Tanoho Swamayaya. So this Hari, he has actually assumed the form of what? A boar, right? Swamayaya. Swamaya, where do we hear this verse before? Swamayaya, Atma Mayaya. Ajopi San Avyatma, Bhagavad Gita 4.6, right? Bhutanam Ishwaropisam, Prakritin Swam Adhishtaya, Sambhavamya Atma Maya. Now, how does the Lord assume these different forms? Out of his own potency, not like he's forced to accept, right? Out of his own potency, the Lord Hari has assumed this form of a boar. Then go Udharam Rasatala Leelam. And what did he do the Leela? Rasatala. What did he do from Rasatala? He picked up the earth, put it back into orbit. Then next sentence, Hiranyaksham, Avagya Hatam. And then Avagya. Avagya means very lightly or very neglectfully. He killed Hiranyaksha. Right? Just like a child would break a toy, he actually came, he killed that powerful Hiranyaksha. Nishamya, having heard all this, Sanjata Harsha Bharata, that Vidura, he was overjoyed to hear all this. And then he actually said to Maitreya as follows. Okay, translation.
Hare Krishna. Suta Goswami continued. Vidur, the descendant of Bharat, was delighted to hear the story of the Lord, who, having assumed by his own divine potency the form of a boar, had enacted the sport of lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean and indifferently killing the demon Hiranyaksha. Vidur then spoke to the sage as follows.
Indifferently he killed him, like just like a play, on the neck, hold, khatam, right? So another point Prabhupada says in the purport is how the Mayavadis, they say that the Lord Brahman assumes a form from Maya. They say ultimate realization is what? Brahman. When the Lord comes in different avatars, it is that Brahman who is taking a material form. That's what Mayavadis say. You know? But if the so point Prabhupada made that it cannot be accepted that the Brahman is assuming a form from Maya, because Maya is under the control of the Lord. Maya Dakshena Prakriti. So Prakriti is under the control of the Lord. If Maya is actually able to cover Brahman, then who is greater? Maya or Bhagwan? Then Maya becomes the greater. Now, how can Maya be greater? Then Maya is the supreme personality of God. That is not possible. Maya is always under the control. Maya can influence the jiva because we are tiny part and parcel of the Lord. But Maya can never cover the original Brahman, the supreme personality of God. Right? So this is the fault of Mayavad. And Mayavadis, they cannot answer this question that how Maya can actually cover Bhagwan. That makes Maya greater than Bhagwan. That cannot be accepted. Okay. Text 9 to 11 is Vidura. He is actually inquiring further. So we are now coming back to the track, right? So Vidura's questions. Okay. 3 verses. Go ahead. So now we are going to go a little fast. Text 9.
Text 9.
So, 1 minute, Mataji. It's just that, bro, it's if we can have the translation right after the verse, and then you can explain the word to word, it is a little better.
Okay. Sure. If that works better, we can do that way. So no problem. Okay. Text 9.
Babuji, I have a question. So I fully understand that Maya cannot be greater than the Lord, and the Mayavadi philosophy is false. But they can say that, oh, the Maya sometimes covers, so that Krishna can enjoy the pastimes, right? The Yog Maya covers the covering potency is there of the Maya, right?
But the Yoga Maya is not covering the form of the Lord. Right? The form of the Lord is always Sachidananda Vigraha. Here we are focusing on the form of the Lord. Their point is when the Lord comes as avatar, his form is covered by Maya. That Yoga Maya is actually one way covering Krishna, but not his form, but just his, little bit knowledge of that Leela so that Krishna can enjoy more, So it may cover his knowledge slightly so that that Leela is more relishable, but never his form.
Thank you, Babuji.
Right? Next time.
Vidura Uvacha Prajapati Pati Srishtva Praja Sarge Prajapati Kim Arabhata Me Brahman Prabhu Yavyakta Margavit.
Translation.
Vidura said, since you know of matters inconceivable to us, tell me, O holy sage, what did Brahma do to create living beings after evolving the Prajapatis, the progenitors of living beings?
Right? So now we are coming back to the path of Brahma's creation. Right? So this chapter is basically, we are going to do a quick overview of that entire chart of creation. And this chapter is going to go about different aspects of creation all the way to Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. So again, we are kind of giving that whole overview up to Swayambhuva Manu Shatarupa. Then next chapter will continue with their descendants. Right? So that's going to be the flow of this chapter. So here is saying Vidura Vacha, Prajapati Pati Shrishta. So who is Pati of the Prajapati? Who is the Pati of the Prajapati? Brahma. Right? Who is the father of all these Prajapatis? Brahma. Shishva, so he, the Lord Brahma, right. So Shishva Praja Sarge. So after creating all these Prajapatis for the purpose of Praja Sarge, Praja is the living entities. When he created all these Prajapatis, Kim Arabhat, what did he do? And then also the word here is how is Vidura addressing Maitreya? Avyakta Margavit. Very nice word. Avyakta Margavit. One who actually knows that is Avyakta. Avyakta means what? Inconceivable. Someone who knows what is inconceivable, He's saying, Maitreya, because you know the inconceivable, you can speak this katha. Right? And so this actually makes the point that spiritual knowledge is something that is not to be understood by our sense perception. You cannot use our senses and say like, oh, maybe this is this or this is this, perhaps this is so and so. No. The only way to understand the inconceivable is to receive the knowledge from someone who is actually already avyakta margavit. That's the only way you can actually receive spiritual knowledge. That means we have to connect to a person who is actually has the knowledge. So what does Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Say Krishna Tattva Veti, say Guru. Who's a Guru? Who knows Krishna Tattva. And is only one who knows Krishna Tattva can actually give that to you. Not that you speculate, right? So it has to be Avyakta Margavit. So Prabhupada says the first person who is Avyakta Margavit is Brahmaji, because he received that knowledge of the inconceivable from Krishna himself, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. Then after that, Narada. And then anyone coming in the line can become Avyakta Margavit, right? Because you are receiving that knowledge of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Okay, text 10.
Ye marityadayo vipra yastu swayambhuvo manuhu te vai brahmana adishat katam etad abhavayan.
Hare Krishna. Vidura inquired, how did the Prajapatis, such generators of progenitors of living entities as Marichi and Swayambhuva Manu, creating according to the instruction of Brahma, and how did they evolve this manifested universe? Hare Krishna.
So simple. Marichi Adya, Vipraha, Swayambhumanu. So Marichi, etc. So all the other sages along with Marichi, Vipraha, Brahmana, Swayambhuva Manu, right? Why Brahmana Adesha? By the order of Brahmana, Brahmana Adesha, Adesh we say, right? By the order. Katham etam abhavayam. How did they create? Right? Okay, that's a question. Next. So 9, 10, and 11 is a question. So 11 also. Next.
Sadvitiya kim astajan svatantra utakarmasu aho swit samhatha sarva idam sma samakalpayan.
Did they evolve the creation in conjunction with their respective wives? Did they remain independent in their action, or did they all jointly produce it? Hare Krishna.
Right. So Kim Asarjan. So basically, I want to know more about the creation. You talked of the Prajapatis. How did they create? Did they actually come with their wife and create together? Right. Kim Asarjan, whether they create Sa Dvitiya, with their wife they created, or Swatantraha, did they independently do the creation? Right. They just did it. They are the main. Or Ahoswit or Samahataha. They all came together and created progeny. How did that happen? I want to know. Okay. So those are the questions. And now Maitreya will start giving answers. Text 12. Okay, so any comments up to this point? No, Maitreya answers. Any questions, comments up to this point?
Which I really like that whenever, even if we read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam again and again, still newer and newer realizations are there every time we read it. I really like what you said that when we're chanting the Mahamantra, it feels sometimes we're chanting for the first time, right? Each mantra is so relishing.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so anything else?
Hare Krishna, Roji.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Roji. Thank you so much, Roji. So you explained very nicely about the right move to visit the Dham. And it was very nicely explained. And like about the Bhagavatas, like it is said, like when we take the bath in Ganga water, so it purified us and whatever previous karmas are clean. But then when we visit the Bhagavatas, so it's like a vaccination. We visit them and they clear our mind also. So further karmas are also being taken care that it's prohibited because of that.
Yes, so not only our sinful reactions are washed away, but even our material desires are cleansed. Right? That's the power. Right? So, yeah, very nice one. Thank you. Okay, text 12.
Maitreya uvacha daivena durvitarkena parena nimishena cha jata kshobhat Bhagavato Mahan Asid Gunatraya.
Maitreya said, when the equilibrium of the combination of the three modes of nature was agitated by the unseen activity of the living entity, by Mahavishnu, and by the force of time, the total material elements were produced.
So everyone is now ready to go back to chapter 2.5 and 3.5, that technical aspect. But here, just a quick overview. Like, we are not going too much in detail, but quick overview just to get the flow. So it's already been described, all this, but in summary, Maitreya is actually again describing, because like 7 chapters, we did the whole thing. Now we have to come back. So we have to refresh our mind, right? So he said, so 3 things he said: Daivena, Parena, and Animishena. Right? So how does Pradhan actually is moved to Mahatattva? 3 things happen. Daivena is by the karma of us Jiva. Like, why does that whole thing happen? Because we Jivas, we living entities, have the desire to enjoy. So hence there is a Pradhan is actually moved to Mahatattva. But can the Jivas do that? No. Parena, it has to happen by the desire of the Supreme Lord, and Animishena, by the influence of time. Right? So Prakriti is actually disturbed. That Pradhan is actually disturbed by these 3 factors: the karma of Jiva, the desire of the Lord, and time. And hence it actually becomes Mahatattva. And how does it become? Bhagavataha, means by the glance of the Lord. Right? And hence the total Mahan Asita, total material elements were produced, and from Gunatrayat. Right? In that chart, if you remember, there are 3 modes of material nature that are active. Right? And because of those 3 modes, we get all those elements. Right? So, okay. So Prabhupada in the purport, he says, what is the cause of creation? The destiny or karma of the jiva. So material creation exists because what? Everyone remembers our RRA? What is RRA?
Reclaim rebellious.
Reform our rebellious
Reform
attitude.
our rebellious attitude. The purpose of material creation is to reform our rebellious attitude to Krishna, RRA, right? So here, Prabhupada says, material creation exists for the conditioned soul who wants to become a false lord of sense enjoyment. We have that tendency, oh, I want to become the master, I want to become the enjoyer, independent of Krishna, right? Then Prabhupada further says, one cannot trace out the history of when this actually happened. When did the jiva desire that? And then Prabhupada makes this point. There is a nice verse which says, if you see in the first paragraph towards the end, there is a nice verse which says that the sum and substance of the conditioned soul's sense enjoyment is that as soon as he forgets his prime duty to render service to the Lord, he creates an atmosphere of sense enjoyment, which is called Maya, and that is the cause of material creation. Anyone knows which verse Prabhupada is referring to? So, so the reason I'm asking is because there are, okay. So there are 2 verses that I came up with. Right? So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita that is giving this close meaning, right? So one is from Chaitanya Charitamrita 21:17, right? So CC Madhya 21:17, and that verse actually says, Krishna bhuli se jiva anadi bahir mukha. Let me just share my screen quickly. CC Madhya 21:22. So there are 2 verses that I know which one is proper referring to, but have similar meanings here. So one is 117. So Krishna bhuli se jiva anadi bahimuk ateva maya tare deha samsara duk. Forgetting Krishna bhuli, we forget, the living entity has been attracted by Maya. Right? Ateva maya tare. And from when? Anadi bahimuk. We don't even know from when. From time immemorial, the jiva has been attracted to external feature. Ate maya tare, because of this maya, samsara. He is actually suffering in this samsara. So this is one verse. and that is 120, 120. Yeah. Oh, which was that verse? Maya Muktera Jiva. 1 minute. Sorry, I missed that. So one is 21:17, and one more verse which I just had it. Hmm. And I can't find it. I just have it in a minute before. Oh yeah, 21:22. Sorry, yeah. So 21:17 and 21:22. Maya Mugdera Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Gyan Jivera Kripa Kele Krishna Veda Puran. The condition is cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort, but out of causeless mercy of the world. Anyway, so I think 117 is actually the one that Prabhupada is referring to, but this is also kind of similar. Maya Mugdera Jiva. The Jiva is actually enchanted by the influence of Maya. Okay. So anyway, so 21:17, you can take as that verse Prabhupada is referring to. But Prabhupada actually further says, another word used here is durvi tarkena. And he says, no one can argue about when and how the conditioned soul actually came to this material world. So often we have this argument that how did the jiva fall down? Prabhupada is saying, this verse of Bhagavatam is saying, no one can argue when and how the jiva came, but the cause is there. So we cannot say how we came, but we know the cause why we came. And that is more important. Why we came? Because we do not want to serve Krishna. And how do we go back? Because we develop that mentality to serve Krishna, right? So that's an important point, that we actually focus on the cause rather than how it actually happened. Right? And also Prabhupada says that we shouldn't think that all this transformation is happening. The Lord himself is transformed and he's become material. No, no. The Lord, through his inconceivable potency, is actually doing all this. Next verse, 13. Everyone okay? Okay, text 13.
Raja Pradhanan Mahata Strilingo Daiva Choditat Jata Sasarja Bhutadhir Vyan Adini Panchashaha.
As impelled by the destiny of the jiva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from the Mahatattva, in which the element of Rajas predominates. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of 5 principles. So everyone remembers this? Let me share my screen again. Everyone remembers this chat? So this is what we are discussing, how Karnadakshay Vishnu, he glances, and through his glance, he impregnates the jiva into material nature. And then there's an aspect of Kal and the jivas that are impregnated into material nature. That is Pradhan. And initially, Pradhan, the modes are there, but they are not active. Right? They are in the unmixed state. And then from that Mahatattva. So previous verse actually talked of how Mahatattva is actually produced. And this verse is saying that initially Rajaha Pradhanam. Initially Mahatattva is what? In the mode, actually initially it is in the mode of Sattva. Initially Mahatattva, which is produced, is in the mode of Sattva. And then it actually becomes predominated by Rajaha. So this verse says Rajaha Pradhanan. So the Mahatattva, the mode of Rajaha, passion, becomes prominent. And then what happens? Then the Sutra Tattva, that entire aspect of Sutra Tattva is there. And further, because of the influence of time, that Rajaha gets transformed into Tamaha. And then when Mahatattva in Tamaha is there, then it produces Ahankara. Right? So here it says, as impelled by the destiny of Jiva, the false ego, Ahankar, which is of 3 kinds, right? So which are 3 kinds? So Ahankar in the mode of goodness, Ahankar in the mode of passion, Ahankar in the mode of ignorance. And then he says, from this evolves groups of 5 principles. What are the 5 things that come? Screen. Right? We have sets of 5. What are 5? 5 is earth, air, fire, water, earth. Sorry, ether, air, fire, water, earth. That's one set of 5. Second set of 5 is what? Sound, touch, form, taste, smell. Second set of 5. Third set of 5 is what? Ear, eye, skin, nose, tongue. Fourth set of 5 is what? Hands, feet, voice, anus, genitals. And then another, you can say, another set of 5 is the demigods related to the first 5 senses. And another 5 set is demigods related to the knowledge acquiring senses or working senses. The knowledge acquiring senses and working senses, right? So main point here is from the ego, in turn, evolve many groups. Adini Panchashaha, many groups of 5. So basically, that's all. So in this, the 2 verses, we have covered this whole chart. Everyone still with me?
But there was 6, right? 6 sets of 5.
There were 6 sets of 5, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 6 sets of 5. Everyone got it? So basically, this verse is saying Panchasha, in groups of 5, all those things actually evolve. But Prabhupada here focuses on 4 groups of 5, right? So he is not, and then he also mentions towards the end that sometimes even the demigods are actually considered as another division. Okay, text 14. That's correct.
Question, bro. Sorry, bro. This is a question before this verse, when how Prakriti is disturbed by karma, desire of the Lord, and the animishana, right?
And
So,
3 things.
right.
Right, so
So
karma
how
is that of the jiva. Then
Jivas,
there is the next word, which is parena,
desire
and
the
animation,
Lord.
time.
So, what is this desire of the Lord, bro? Like, we know there is the first is the glance of the Lord is the desire, right? Because to look at his wife, who was Maya Devi, that is one context. Another one,
Yeah.
Jiva, to keep the body.
So
This
what is the desire of the Lord here? The desire of the Lord is to give every living entity an opportunity to reform and come back to him. Because finally, what the Lord wants, he wants each one of us back home so that we can actually render that particular rasa, which is unique to every jiva, to Krishna. So even though Krishna is actually Akhila Rasamrita Murti, he is the embodiment of all rasa. Still, they say that every jiva has one rasa which is unique to that jiva, and Krishna wants to taste that rasa of that jiva. So that desire is, all these jivas are there, they're sleeping. I want to give them a chance. Come back. And that's why he actually gives them all these bodies, this material body. That's why this entire material universe is RRA. Reform a rebellious attitude. Okay? Okay, let's continue. 14.
Text 14. Tani chaikaikasha shastum asamarthani bhotikam samhatya daiva yogena haimam andam avasrijam.
separately unable to produce the material universe, they combined with the help of the energy of the Supreme Lord and were able to produce a shining egg.
So everyone remembers this? We are just doing an overview, right? What happened here in the second canto? It says that they were separated, and then the energy of the Lord entered and they actually could come together. What was described in third canto, 5th chapter? They were separated, and then the demigods who were connected with them, they offered prayers to the Lord. And when the Lord was pleased with those prayers, he came and he entered into each one of them, by which they actually amalgamated together. And then from that, when they came together, then they produced this anda, right? Brahmanda, we say, right? So that shining egg was actually created from that. Okay, then further, 15.
So shayishtabdhi sharile andakosho niratmakaha sagram vaivarsha sahasram andavasitam ishvaraha.
For over 1,000 years, the shiny egg lay on the waters of casual ocean in the lifeless state. Then the Lord entered it as Garbhodakshayasana.
It's like an overview. I mean, review of what you have already discussed. So for 1,000 years, that golden egg, it lay in the water. And then the Lord himself, he enters into it as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, right? And once he enters into Garbhodakshay Vishnu, then he will actually fill half of the universe with water, and then he'll lay down Anantashish. And then what happens? And from the navel, Brahma is born. So next verse is actually, so up to this point is what? Primary creation. Then from next verse, he'll go to a secondary creation. So we are like very quickly going through this entire thing, what we discussed over chapters is like very quickly we are going through. Okay, 16.
Tasya nabhir abhut padmam sahasrar korudhiti sarva jivanikayoko yatra swayam abhut swarat.
From the navel of the personality of Godhead Garbhodakshay Vishnu sprouted a lotus flower, effulgent like 1,000 blazing suns. This lotus flower is the reservoir of all conditioned souls, and the first living entity who came out of the lotus flower was the omnipotent Brahma. Hare Krishna.
So Tasya Nabhir, from his Nabhi, Abhuta Padmam, right? There came a Padma, a lotus, which was Abhuta. It appeared, a lotus flower appeared. And how was the lotus flower? Sahasra Arka Uru Udiditi. Sahasra Arka, it was like shining like thousands of Arka, sun, right? Sarva Jiva Nikaya Okar. So this was actually the resting place of all conditioned souls. So Yatra Swayam Abhut Swarat, from where the Swarat appeared. And here Swarat is referring to Brahmaji himself. So on top of the lotus, who appeared? Brahmaji, right? Now, why was the lotus shining like thousands of suns? So Prabhupada makes a point that because this was actually abode of all the jivas, and the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord is actually given, disposed to every jiva. And because every jiva by its original nature is shining, all the jivas together, they create the shining of thousands of suns. So hence the lotus flower, which appears, it appears like thousands of suns. And yeah, so this is the sum total of all living entities. If you remember in the previous class, we talked of this as Hiranya Garbha, as a golden egg, right? Shining, and the sum total of all living entities. Right? 17.
Sonuvishto Bhagavata Yashete Shalilashaye Loka Samstam Yata Purvam Nirmame Samstaya Swaya.
Translation. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean, entered the heart of Brahma, Brahma brought his intelligence to bear. And with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before.
So what did then Brahma do? Sa Anuvishta Bhagavata and Ya Shreshte Salila Ashay. That Lord who was Shalila Ashay, Ashay is like an asan, who was what was? He was sleeping on the asan on Garbhodak ocean. That Lord who was sleeping on Garbhodak ocean, Anuvishtaha, he entered into Brahma. How did he enter? Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. He actually entered into the heart of Brahma as intelligence. Like how the Lord enters into the heart of every living entity. Similarly, the Lord entered into the heart of Brahma and gave him the intelligence so that Loka Samsan Yata Purvam. As Purva, as before, he can actually create this entire material universe. Loka Samsthan. So it was the Lord who actually entered into the heart of Brahma and giving him remembrance and intelligence to create this material world. And then Prabhupada makes a nice point. He says, Brahma, okay. So Prabhupada says, like, why in the previous verse was Brahma called Swarat? Is Brahma really Swarat? You remember in the second canto what happened? Narad Muni came to Brahmaji and he said what? Brahma, it appears that you are the original creator. And anyone remembers what example he uses? Like a spider, but also one more he uses. Like someone having a walnut in his hand. You know? Walnut in his hand. It's like it appears that you are in control of everything. So he said, Naramani, I think you, Brahmaji, you are the original creator. And what does Brahma say? No, no, no. I am not. I am only the secondary creator. I create what has already been created. That is by Krishna, right? So here, Prabhupada is actually making the point that Brahma is called Swarat. Why is he called Swarat? Because the Lord empowers him with so much intelligence and power that it appears as if he's independent. Even Narad Muni thinks that, oh, he's independent. So then Brahma is called Swarat, right? So Prabhupada says the creative power of every living entity is actually not his own. Even the atheists, the scientists, they actually create all these things and they think, oh, I created this. My patent, I'm going to file a patent. No one else can claim that this is his. It is my patent, right? So if anyone uses this, they have to pay me. But actually, all the patents belongs to who? Krishna. Because he's the one who's actually creating, giving the ability to every man to actually do the creation. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say? I am the ability in man. So even that ability is coming from Krishna, right? So hence all the credit should actually go to Krishna, right? So even though we scientists may create all these wonderful things, they can never overcome the laws of material nature. Because if they had the power to overcome the laws of material nature, then they would actually, so Prabhupada makes a point, he says, if they were actually had that power, then the law's supremacy would be hampered. So hence the Lord gives them enough ability to do whatever they want to do, but not to overcome the laws of material nature. Hence, like whatever they do, they cannot actually find a way to overcome death. That's the law of material nature. They have to die. Whatever time is destined, you're going to live at that time. That's it. Right? So they cannot hold. But whatever remaining, they have the ability that is coming from Krishna himself. Okay. Text 18.
Sasarja chaya vidyam pancha parvanam agrataha tamishram andha tamishram tamo moho mahatamaha.
So anyone remembers what did Brahma first create? First create
Ignorance.
ignorance, the 5 kinds of ignorance. Because he knows the jivas, they are here to enjoy. So he has to facilitate that. So he creates the 5 kinds of ignorance. So if you see the third and fourth line, tamishram, under tamishram, tamo, moha, mahatamaha. 5 kinds of ignorance. So translation.
Hope my turn. Hare Krishna. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number and are called the Tamishra, Ada Tamishra, Tamas, Moha, and Mahamoha. Hare Krishna.
Right. So you remember this? So we see here. So Lord Brahma created 5 features of ignorance, right? So we have tamaha, moha, mahamoha, tamishram, and andatamishram, right? So you can see on the screen. So Prabhupada in his purport, he starts off by explaining from tamishram. Actually, when we discussed previously in the purport, we started off from the last, andatamishram, and then we went to tamaha. Right? So here Prabhupada starts off with tamishram, and he says, what is tamishram? He says tamishram is anger upon frustration to be a free enjoyer. Every one of us, we want to enjoy, and we want to enjoy without any restriction. We want to become free enjoyer, right? We want to enjoy, and we are eating food. You're like, okay, I want to keep eating with no restrictions, right? No restrictions. Well, after sometimes the stomach says, oh, I'm full. Say, no, I don't want any restrictions. I want to become free enjoyer. But then we become angry. We become frustrated. Oh, and now I'm tired. I wanted to relish more, but I cannot do it. So that anger is called tamishram, right? Once enjoyment is obstructed. Then, because of that tamishram, then Prabhupada says under tamishram. Under tamishram means thinking that death, which is actually the ultimate end, people actually, they don't think of death. They actually say, oh, my life is, oh, actually, yeah, the point the Prabhupada says, under tamishram means, okay, everyone knows that we are going to die. So what do they think? Oh, whatever lifespan I have, let me try to enjoy my senses to the maximum extent. Let me actually eat, drink, be merry, more sense gratification. As much as possible, I want to do it. That is Andhata Mishra, that unconscious state brought about by anger. Because they want to enjoy freely, there's a death, so they say, okay, beyond that, we don't know what's going to happen. Let me enjoy life as much as possible. Then from that, Tamaha Prabhupada explained. Right? So why does one consider that at the time of death, everything is finished and hence I can do whatever I want in this life? Because Tamaha, we do not know who we are. We forget that we are a spirit soul. Darkness about our real identity. Right? So that is Tamaha. And because we forget who we are, then Moha. We get attached to this bodily conception. Right? We say, this is mine, aham mameti, my house, my property, my wife, my children, my. So I and mine. Right? So that is Moha. And because of that, Mahamoha. Mahamoha means we become mad after material enjoyment. These are the 5 kinds of ignorance that Brahma creates. Okay, next verse.
Text 19. Visasarjatmana kayam nabhinandam stamomayam jagrihuryaksharakşamsi ratrim kshutrit samudbhavam.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Out of disgust, Brahma threw off the body of ignorance, and taking this opportunity, Yakshas and Rakshasas sprang for possession of the body, which continued to exist in the form of night. Night is a source of hunger and thirst.
So Brahma, when he created this, then said, Na Abhinandan. Abhinandan means he was not pleased. Said, I actually have created this world. I had to do this out of a duty, created this ignorance, but I'm not pleased with this. Then what did Brahma say? Okay, this mentality, when it says Brahma gave up his body, it's not that he died. He didn't leave his body, because Brahma's lifetime is 100 years. He has to live for 100 years. But he gave up that subtle body, that mentality of ignorance, he gave it up, right? Which was actually Tamaha Mayam, the mode of ignorance, he gave it up. And when he gave up that mentality gave rise to who? Yaksha and Rakshasas. They actually appeared from that. And they appear Ratrim. They continue to exist at night. And night is a source of hunger and thirst. So basically the point here is that how demons, they are actually attracted to nighttime. They become active at night. For devotees, it is Mangalarti is our main time. For demons, after 10 o'clock, their day starts. Right? Like there was this one devotee was saying that he was in Chennai and he was living in in the student quarters or whatever. And next room, so he was in one room and devotee, and other room there were other just regular Karmi students. So he was saying the whole how it used to work is that whole night the others used to stay awake. And when his alarm used to go on, then he used to hear all of a sudden it becomes quiet in the other room. So when he wakes up, then they sleep. And when he's sleeping, they are very active. Right? So demoniac mentality means after 10 o'clock, life starts. Right? So that's the main point here, Yaksha and Rakshasa. So this theme, which is there, is actually now throughout the chapter. Brahma is going to create something, he'll get disgusted, he'll give up his body, and then someone will be born. And then someone else will be born. Then he'll say, no, I have to do something nice. Then he meditates on something positive, on beauty. Then the Gandharvas will be born. Then he meditates on something else. So that way the whole chapter is. So we'll go quickly through the rest of the chapter. And also there's a whole section that how, okay, and we'll come back to that. Okay, let's take a pause here. Let's see any questions, comments, realizations. And then we'll take a break.
Prabhuji, when the last line says the night is the source of hunger and thirst, it is just referring to the demonic mentality.
Demons at night, they wake up after 10 o'clock, their life starts. And then what do? They drink, they eat. Not just something that is required for the maintenance of the body, but I can tell you in a place in India, where my relatives are, there is a place in that town where the life starts after 10 o'clock. And what is that life? That life is that entire street will be filled with all these, these food stalls, like chaat and this and that. And after 10 o'clock, everyone comes, I mean, those, in that mode. They'll come there at 10 o'clock and then they'll start eating. They'll start eating. And that is so popular at that place. And I'm talking about Indore, if anyone has been to that place. It's so popular. Everyone knows. After 10 o'clock, they say your visit to that place is not complete unless after 10 o'clock you go and you eat something in that place. And it's like, they cook all sorts of varieties of this chaat, that chaat, everything. So that kind of eating and that kind of drinking, it is products of night.
Unfortunately, Papaji, in Delhi also, this is a scenario now. The clubs, they open in the night, and the youngsters, they are going actually in the night, like 12:30, 1 a.m. Well, let's meet there at 1 a.m. This is what is happening.
This is demoniac mentality, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I think Vaisheshika Prabhu also mentioned, right, when he used to go to temple initially, he said, probably, I think it's him I heard, or maybe Gurudev, then he's going to temple and then his friends are going to home
Coming
at the same time.
They meet. That's true.
I remember, bro, the same thing is not like that. And during Durga Puja time in Kolkata, there is a big thing called pandal hopping, from pandal to pandal, see the day Durga Ma. And then, so one of the days I was going to the pandal because there is a special puja that happens at 4 o'clock, Sandhi Puja, that the one which Lord Ramachandra did. So I went there. I was going 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I could see the people coming out from the pandal. They are looking like literally demons because the hairs are all open. Saris are here and there because those are new shoes. They have got that feet, the new shoes get this pinch in the feet. So the feet are pink, so they have the shoes in their hands, like literally demonic. I was like, what is the point of doing this? So you should go and
We see that more and more happening. This is a sign of Kali Yuga progressing. Demonic life becomes more and more prominent. Okay. So
In Ramjan also they eat like in the night. Like,
yeah, they have this thing of they fast through the day and then they
yeah.
eat. Like, I don't know if that's like something which is coming from
they
the
eat early morning, very early morning and before the sunrise and after the sunset.
After the sunset.
Not
And
that they eat throughout the night. That is supposed to be good Ramzan, but people are doing whatever they want.
in Hyderabad, we have midnight biryani.
Yeah.
All night they get biryani.
It's all demoniac tendencies. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll come back 5 minutes and we'll continue. We can actually go through the verses very quickly now and we'll finish this chapter. Okay.
Prabhu, is it like the Brahmaji is being called as Swarat? Could it be also meaning that he is the supreme authority of that one Brahmanda?
No, that one Brahmana. So Krishna has given him so much power to actually, create in that Brahman. So it appears as if he's Swarat. That's why he's called Swarat. So in this material universe, one way, there is no demigod who is actually controlling Brahma, right? There's no as such a controller who's controlling Brahma. That way he's independent. He's only under the rules created by Krishna himself. Okay. So let's take a quick break. We'll continue at line 5. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, everyone, come back. So let's continue. Text number 20. Okay, so we'll be going a little fast on this verses. So if you have a question, you can just pause me. Otherwise, we're just going through this chapter. Go ahead.
Text 20. Kshut Tribhyam upasrishtaste tam jagadhum abhidrudruvu ma rakshatainam jakshadham ityuchu kshutrid arditaha. Overpowered by hunger and thirst, they ran to devour Brahma from all sides and cried, "Spare him not, eat him up."
Imagine that they're actually born from Brahma and they're coming to Brahma and saying like, let's eat him up. And see what Prabhupada says in the purport. He says it's understood that such uncivilized men take pleasure in killing their own grandfathers and holding a love feast by roasting their body. Oh my God. How disgusting is that? Somewhere in the world, some uncivilized people actually do that, and Prabhupada is actually mentioning that. But we see the mood of these demons. They are like, Tat Jagdum Abhidudhruva. They ran towards Brahma. Why? Shuddha Tribhram. The same point that was mentioned, that the night actually, it induces this hunger and thirst. And so they're overcome by that. They ran to Brahma. They actually said, Iti Uchuhu, Ma Rakshata Enam Jakshata. Do not spare him out of compassion. Eat him up. They came to Brahma to eat him. Okay, 21.
Devastam aha samvigno mamam jakshata rakshata aho me yaksha raksham si prajayuyam babhuvita.
3:20-21. Brahma, the head of demigods, full of anxiety, asked them, "Do not eat me, but protect me. Born from me, and have become my sons, Yakshas and Rakshasas."
So he said, Deva Tan Aho. Brahma said to them, Samavignaha. He was anxious. Imagine he created something and some personalities are coming to eat him up. And he became anxious and said, Mam Jakshata, do not eat me. I am the creator. I am actually created. I am the main Prajapati Patihi. And you have come to eat me. Rakshata you protect me. You are my sons. You are Yaksha and Rakshasa. You are my sons. Praja Yuyam Bhavata Utu. You are my sons born from me, so protect me, do not eat me. Prabhupada makes a point in the purport that those personalities who came and who said, oh, Brahma should be eaten, they are the Yakshas. And those who came and said, oh, he should not be protected, those are the Rakshasas. Like, I don't know why Prabhupada is actually making this distinction, but he says this is he divides these Yakshas as those who said should not be eaten and Rakshasas who said he should not be protected. And Prabhupada said these two, Yaksha and Rakshasa, are originally created by Brahma and represented even until two in uncivilized men who are scattered all over the universe. Sure. Okay.
Prabhuji, quick question. So normally when we say Rakshasas, we see demons, right? But if you read this, it's like Rakshasas, like Rakshak, right? Is that not the meaning?
So if you see if you see the Sanskrit also is Rakshasa, right? Rakshamsi.
Not Rakshasas, okay. Because says, come to protect me, right? Do not eat me, but protect me. That is why you will be, therefore you are Yakshas and Rakshasas. So it's not Rakshasa, it's Rakshasas.
Actually, in the Sanskrit, you say, what does Prabhupada say? Rakshamsi. So Sanskrit says Rakshamsi, but in the Prabhupada said, therefore you are Yakshas and Rakshasas, he said. But that's a very interesting point. I didn't think about that. That Raksha is protected. And Raksha.
As I was reading it, I was just read it aloud. I was like, it says it's not Rakshasa, it's Rakshasas. So to protect me. So I'm like, does that mean like Rakshasas are supposed to be good?
Prabhu Mataji, I think it is in the purport that Prabhu just read that the
Yeah.
one who said he should not be protected is Rakshasas.
Yeah.
You see, Rakshasas. So they are
So,
not really the one who is protect me, who will protect me. Prabhupada, that is why probably he made it, Prabhu, why Prabhupada made a difference.
but
Because
Mataji's
this
point is Raksha means to protect, right? Like even
Yeah.
other places we see this, like even in Bhagavatam, like yesterday 10th canto we are discussing, there also the word Raksha is actually used as protection. So why are the Rakshasas have that word Raksha to protect, and why is that connected to the point that those who said you should not be protected are called Rakshasa? Maybe someone who's good, expert at Sanskrit can find that how this is actually the opposite meaning of, so those who do not protect are Rakshasas, and the opposite of that would be Kshatriya. Kshatriya means one who protects, right? So Rakshasas will be, so there's probably something in the Sanskrit, the way it is written, that Rakshasas is one who does not protect. But that's interesting. I never thought of that word connection. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
22.
Devata prabhaya vyaya divyan pramukato srajat te aharshur devayanto vishishtam tam prabham aha.
He then created the chief demigods who were shining with the glory of goodness. He dropped before them the effulgent form of daytime, and the demigods spottingly took possession of it.
Right. So basically now, see, and we can see that in a cycle, like even in our life. Let's say we do something which is like na abhinandan. We are not pleased. And then we feel like, oh, why did I do this? Or something which is not favorable to our bhakti visa. And immediately what happens? Out of that lament and that remorse, we want to do something nice. Right? And that's how our life is, up and down, up and down. So Brahma actually, out of that ignorance, he created the 5 kinds of ignorance, and then he said, oh, this is horrible, I'm not happy. And he gave her that body, then Rakshasa happened. And he said, okay, now I have to do something nice. So he created the demigods, right? And this cycle happens again and again in this chapter we see. So Devata Prabhaya Pramuktaha, he created Pramuktaha, the chief demigods, and they were shining with glory, with goodness, with that mode of goodness. So Brahma actually, yeah. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually saying that Brahma actually after this, he actually said, okay, now I have to become pure. So he absorbed his mind on Krishna, and that's where the mentality of sattva came. And through that sattva, the demigods were actually produced. And then they took possession of that daytime. Because the effulgence was there, they took possession of daytime. Okay. So Yakshas and Rakshasas are born of quality of ignorance, and demigods are born of quality of goodness, sattva. 23.
Devo devan jagannatha srijati smati lolupan te enam lolupataya maitunyaya bhipedire.
Hare Krishna. Lord Brahma then gave birth to the demons from his buttocks, and they were very fond of sex. Because they were too lustful, they approached him for copulation.
See, imagine how much Brahma has to go through. Like, so, like, imagine, like, we try to do some seva and we get challenges. Imagine Brahma's challenges. He has to create ignorance. He doesn't like to do it, but still he had to do it. Then, because of that, then Yakshas, Rakshasas. And Rakshas, they're coming to eat him. And you're saying, no, no, don't eat me. I created you. And then after that, then he said, okay, demigods, Sattva, okay, demigods. Demigods are created. And now, after that, then Brahma gave birth to demons from buttocks, right? From the bottom part. And then it says, and they were very fond of sex. And then what did they do? They came to Brahmaji himself and said, like, we want to have sex with you. Imagine that mentality, what demons are being produced. Right? And so Prabhupada says how sex life is the background of material existence. And he says like how demons, they're very fond of sex life. And he makes a point that the more one is free from the desires of sex, the more he's promoted to a level of demigods. The more one is attached to sex, the more he's degraded to a level of demons. Right? So then hence his attraction to sex is actually a key point that we can see how we are progressing in our sadhana. The more we are free from this tendency, more we know we are actually advancing. And why is this point? Because the original that sex desire is actually adi rasa. That attraction between Radha and Krishna. So the desire of every jiva is to assist in that original sex pleasure between Radha and Krishna, or Krishna and the gopis. That is a desire of every living entity. And because that desire is perverted here in the material world, it appears as sex desire. So the same desire, when it's actually purified by engaging in service to Radha and Krishna, or by chanting the name Hare Krishna, Radha and Krishna, uniting them, that pleasure is the only way we can overcome the lower sex pleasure. Right? Otherwise, it cannot be overcome. Otherwise, it's so strong. Right? So our question is not just stopping it, but transforming that. And that transformation happens when we actually engage in service, uniting Radha and Krishna together, like chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, etc. Okay, 24.
Tato hasansa bhagavan asurair nirapatrapai andiyamanastarasa krudho bhita parapatat.
The worshipful Brahma was laughed at their stupidity, but fighting the shameless asuras close upon him, he grew indigent and ran in a great haste out of fear.
Now his own sons, the demons, they actually are approaching him to have sex. Right? So initially he just laughed. Oh, so stupid. My sons are approaching me for sex. So stupid. But then he realized that they are actually shameless. They're really wanting to come and have sex. And then he actually crewed her. He became angry and beat her. He became afraid. And then he ran away in great haste. All those demons are chasing him and he ran away. 25.
Sa upavrajya varadham prapanarti haram harim anugrahaya bhaktanam anurupatma darshanam.
Nice verse here. Right?
He approached the personality of Godhead, who bestows all boons and who dispels the agony of his devotees, and those who take shelter of his lotus feet. He manifests his innumerable transcendental forms for the satisfaction of his devotees. Right.
Sir Upavrija. So when Brahma has problem, who does he go to? Who is the only person he can go to? Vishnu. And particularly Shirodaksha Vishnu. Right? So he actually approached the Lord. And how is the Lord described? Varadam. Varadam means the one who actually gives all vara, all benedictions, who bestows all benedictions, all boons. Then Prapanna Arti Haram Harim. Other nice verse. So what does Hari do? He takes away the arti of those who are prapanna. Right? Like in Bhagavad Gita, we see the word arti, the four kinds of people who turn to Krishna. Right? Those who are in need, who are distressed, they turn to Krishna. So here, who is Hari? Hari is one who takes haram, who takes away the arti, the distress of those who prapanna, who surrender unto him. That is Hari. That's the definition of Hari. Right? And then Anugraha Bhaktanam Anurupa Atmadarshanam. And to actually show Anugraha to his devotees, Anurupa, he actually accepts so many different forms. Right? So Prabhupada in the purport, he talks of Hanuman. Right? He actually quotes so Hanumanji actually saying, I know that there is no difference between Sita Ram and Lakshmi Narayan, but nevertheless, the form of Ram and Sita has absorbed my affection and love. Therefore, I want to see the Lord in the form of Ram and Sita. Right? So Hanumanji's mood is, yes, the Lord has accepted that form to please his devotee Hanuman. Right? Similarly, the Lord accepts the form of what? Narsimhadev to please Prahlad. So to please his devotee, Anugraha Bhaktana, he actually accepts a particular form. So, and Prabhupada in the purport talks about like Brahma Samhita, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadi, Ananta Rupam. Yes, so many forms, right? Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamintisha, Ram Adi, so many different incarnations, right? And then also Prabhupada says so many avatars are there. Like there's a shloka 1.3.26, right? Bhagavatam. Avatar hi asankhya harer sattva nidher dujaha yatha vidasina kulya sahasra suya sahasra. It says how there are as many waves in the ocean, that many incarnations are there. So many avatars are there. The Lord actually accepts different avatars. Okay. Another question?
Now, Prabhuji, whenever Brahmaji has a problem, he goes to Garbhodaksha Vishnu or he goes to Sharirodaksha Vishnu?
Also Shirodaksha Vishnu. Shirodaksha Vishnu. The only time like when he went to Garbhodaksha Vishnu, that also he couldn't reach is when he actually didn't know the start of the creation. It's all darkness and he heard tapa. He actually before he heard the word tapa, he actually went down the lotus stem to find who is there. And then he came close, but still he couldn't understand who is the Lord. Then he went back, did tapasya. But there is a Shir Sagar. Even within every material universe, there is a separate Shweta Deep, a planet where the Lord resides as Shirodaksha Vishnu. And he is the maintainer, right? So Brahma knows this Shirodaksha Vishnu is the maintainer. Hence, again and again, he goes to Shirodaksha Vishnu. Right? Yesterday we discussed in 10th canto, when the earth was overburdened with sin. Where does Brahma go? He goes to Shwetadeep. On the other side of the ocean, milk ocean, he chants Sahasra, Om Sahasra Purushaha, like Purusha Sukta prayers. Another question?
Prabhuji, so in the purport it says Hanumanji Vajrangali. So is Vajrangali another name for Hanumanji, and is it similar to Bajrangbali, or what is the reference there?
Vajrangaji.
Vajrangaji. Like I've never heard that. Oh, heard like it.
Anyone knows this?
Anga, right?
What?
Vajra Anga. Like his angas are
son
as
of-
Vajra, like diamond.
What say that again? Let's see.
Vajra Anga. Hanumanji is called, they are saying not Anga, Vajranga Ji. So Vajra Anga. Ji is like respect.
Ah.
I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Angas which are as strong as diamond.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, nice.
And-
And second question is, so it says Hanumanji wanted to see the Lord of the form of the, wanted to see the form of the Lord as the personality of Godhead Ramachandra. So does it mean that he already had a vision of that form, and which is why the Lord manifested himself as Ramachandra?
So see, like every jiva, we have one way. Okay, so there's also a question that comes as debate, but we say that, we have a natural inclination to a particular form of the Lord. And as we progress in bhakti, that particular form of the Lord is revealed to us. For Prahlad, it is Lord Narasimha, because eternally he's worshipping the form. So for Hanumanji, that form is there, right? So he can connect only with Lord Ramchandra. That is his form. But he knows that the same Lord, he appears as Lakshmi Narayan in different forms. But for him, my Lord Ramchandra is Narayan, my Lord Ramchandra is everyone, So that's the main conception. So for us as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, what is our form? Actually, Radha Krishna. Prabhupada says in the purport, he says Radha Krishna or maybe Rukmini Dwarkadish. But those are Ishtadev, that is our form that we aspire for. That's our form we are connected to. Is that okay, Matu?
Sure. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, next verse. Let's continue. 26.
Pahimam paramatmam ste veshanena shrijam prajaha ta ima yabhitum papa upakramanti mam prabho.
Pahimam, Pahimam. We hear this again and again in Bhagavatam. Okay, so what's his translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Lord Brahma, approaching the Lord, addressed him thus: My Lord, please protect me from these sinful demons who were created by me under your order. They are infuriated by an appetite for sex and have come to attack me. Hare Krishna.
So it says, Pahimam, please save me. Please protect me, my Lord. Oh, Prabhu, like you asked me to create, and hence I created. But the people who created, they are actually coming to me for sex. So you please protect me. Now, this is one of the purports, which is Prabhupada talks of like the whole desire, like, the men are, wanting to have sex with another man, right? So that Prabhupada says like that the homosexual desire, and he says it's demoniac. It is not for any sane male in the ordinary course of life. And this purport is because now, homosexuality is like, like it's becoming popular, people talk about it, and, and sometimes people question, what does ISKCON stand on homosexuality? I mean, like the point from this purport is, it is Prabhupada says a demoniac tendency, in the sense that, they're like, even within us, there are so many demoniac tendencies. So when Prabhupada is saying demoniac tendency, even in our heart, each one of our heart, there are so many demoniac tendencies. So it's not like, something that, oh, they are demons. Our main point is like, okay, we don't agree with that principle. So we disapprove. Like I like Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's books. He has written a book. The name of the book is Disapprove but Not Disown. I really like that title. It's so nice. Disapprove. We disapprove the act, but we don't disown. If a person is homosexual, comes to a temple, he wants to engage in devotion service, welcome. Come, take up Krishna consciousness, go back home, back to Godhead. But we disapprove, but we don't disown. So the title is really nice, and we can think of its title. So just like we hate the sinner, we hate the sin, not the sinner. Not the sinner, right? So yes, so that's our mentality. So that's how we see this. Okay. 27.
Swam eka kila lokanam klishtanam kleshanashanaha Swam eka kleshadastesham anasana padam tava.
Very nice
My
verse.
Lord,
Go ahead.
my Lord, you are the only one capable of ending the affliction of the distressed and inflicting agony on those who never resort to your feet.
So here it says, Tvam ekah, right? Mam ekam sharanam raja. So having that exclusive, this prayer is actually our essence, that we come to like one of the 6 aspects of Sharanagati is what? Rakshayeshi iti vishwaso. That who is our protector? Not our doctor, not our insurance, not this, not that. Who is our protector? Finally, Krishna is our protector. Right? Even the best doctor cannot save you. Even the best parents cannot give you the best protection. Even the best boat cannot save you from drowning. Only the Lord can protect us. Right? So that is the mood. So here Brahma is saying, Tvam ekaha kila lokanam. So you alone are the one who are actually capable of ending what? Klesha nashaha. You are actually the one who are capable of ending the distress of all living entities. And further he says, Tvam ekaha kleshada. And you are the one who actually gives distress to those people who do not surrender to you. So those who surrender to Krishna, Krishna takes away all their distress. And those who do not surrender, then Krishna gives them distress. What does it mean Krishna gives them distress? Krishna gives distress to living entities. In the sense that Krishna, actually those who do not surrender to him, then Krishna leaves them under the influence of time, karma, and malefic planets. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in the purport. Basically, under the influence of karma. If people are not willing to take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna says, okay, be in the law of karma, right? You actually experience all your suffering. Oh, sadhe sati is going on. Okay, go through that period. Right? But those who take shelter of Krishna, Krishna says, okay, come to me, I will take away all your distress. Right? So that way, the Brahma is praying to the Lord. Okay, next 28.
So vadharyasya karpanyam viviktabhyatma darshanaha vimunchatma tanum ghoram ityukta vimumochaha.
The Lord, who can distinctly see the minds of others, perceived Brahma's distress and said to him, Cast off this impure body of yours. Thus commanded by the Lord, Brahma cast off his body.
So very nice point in this purport is, Saha, in this verse is, Saha avadarya karpanya vivikta adhyatma darshana. That means the Lord, avadharya, he can perceive the karpanyam. Right? Karpanya dosho pahata savava karpanya. The Lord can perceive the karpanya vivikta without a doubt. And Atma Darshana, who can distinctly see the mind of every living entity. This is such a nice point for us to meditate on. That the Lord, when we are going through a difficult situation, Does the Lord, you say like, Krishna, where are you? I'm going through so much trouble. No, Krishna is seeing everything that we go. And this verse is stressing that Karpanya, all the distress we go through, Krishna is not only seeing, he's perceiving all the distress. Like when you talk of empathy, right? We feel the same that the other person is going. Krishna is actually the most empathic person because he's perceiving every distress we go through. And in that distress, if we actually continue our devotional service, then Krishna is extremely pleased. And he says, the ones, even during their distress, if they continue their devotional service, then I am conquered by them. I am conquered by them. Right? Which is that verse? So in spite of all the difficulties which Krishna is seeing, he's perceiving, oh, my soul here is going through so many, but yet he's serving, he's keeping me. Then Krishna gives, okay, that person, I'm conquered by him. I'm conquered by that person. So that is the mood. So we can see that when we go through this situation, if a sadhana is one thing that is strong, which is still kept as a focus, that is very, very pleasing to Krishna. So whatever happens, our focus, our sadhana should not be disturbed, right? That's okay. Okay. So what did the Lord tell Brahma? Brahma, vimunchaha, throw off this body. The body is impure, just throw it off, right? And then Brahma actually threw away the body. Okay. Next verse, 29.
Text 29. Tam kvanachcharanam bojham madavi vallalochanam kanchi kalapa vilasad dukula chanarodasam.
The body given up by Brahma took the form of the evening twilight, when the day and night meet, a time which kindles passion. The asuras, who were passionate by nature, dominated as they were by the elements of rajas, took it for a damsel, whose lotus feet resounded with the tinkling of anklets, whose eyes were wide with intoxication, and whose hips were covered with fine cloth, over which shone a girdle.
So he gave her the body. So previously when he gave her the body, it became night. Now when he gave her the body, what happened? It became twilight. And twilight is a time when passion is actually induced, right? Passion is strong. And then if you are reading the Sanskrit, it says tam, then it says kvachana, kvanacha charanam bhojam. And when we hear charanam bhojam, who do we think about? Charana Ambuja, lotus look, the Lord Shri Krishna. And when we read the Sanskrit, and all of a sudden, like Brahma is giving up his body, and where did the lotus feet of the Lord come? But actually, it's not the lotus feet of the Lord. But here, that body that was seen by these demons as, oh, lotus feet tinkling with ankle bells. Or Mother Vivala Lochana. They saw, oh, the eyes of this, they are imagining that, oh, this is like a pretty lady. And they're saying, because they are so overcome with lust, that they're seeing this twilight as a lady, and they're seeing like the different aspects, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, like in the twilight, we see what the birds are actually chirping, right? So they're thinking the chirping of the birds as the ankle bells of that lady, And it is, we can see this. If our mind is too absorbed in something, whatever may be the situation, we'll see that object, right? Let's say you want to buy a car, a particular model of a car. Now, wherever you're driving, you'll see different cars. But now you'll be seeing, oh, is that car? Is that the car I want to buy? Is that the color I like? Everywhere we'll just see car. Right? And because these demons are so overcome with lust, everywhere they can just see, oh, a lady we can enjoy. But it's just a twilight. But they're seeing that as a lady that they feel that they can enjoy it, right? And with girdle made of golden ornaments, shining, with fine cloth covering her hips. And this description goes on. Up to text 37 is just describing that lady, with big breasts. And it's like, that's like showing the demoniac tendency. Okay. So Prabhupada here actually makes a point. Early morning is the best time for spiritual cultivation. Evening is a time for passion, right? So, how throughout the day, the modes are so powerful, So when we are actually working through the day, we should be aware of what modes are active through what part of the day. If we know that, okay, evening time means passion is very strong, then we should on purpose say, okay, evening is not a good time. Let me go and do Aarti at this time. That will protect me, right? So we should be aware of what mode set in at what aspect of the day and protect ourselves from Raja and Tama and always being in goodness and a pure goodness, devotional service. Okay, next verse, 30.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Prabhu, as we see that more mode of passion is at the time of twilight, but at the case of Diti's pregnancy, that time it was twilight.
Yeah, that's why it
But
was so inauspicious, right?
I mean, but it is supposed to be at that time, right, Prabhu? Like passion. I mean, it is not supposed. I mean,
Yeah. So I see your point. See, passion is agitated in that mode of twilight, but the duty of a human being is to actually see that though passion is strong, but the whole task of procreation is what? For creating Krishna conscious children. So hence, that mood should be overcome. See, the whole point of why is Krishna, like out of 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, how many shlokas talks of modes of material nature? 100. Almost 100 of the 700 shlokas are just on the modes of material nature. Just so that we understand which mode is active at what part in our life and see how we can overcome that mode and raise ourselves to goodness. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha dayashe. So you have to overcome that tada rajastamo bhava, right? And come to goodness. And then goodness. Okay,
So the,
next.
so the proper time, like when someone's doing Garbhodam Samskar, would be proper time would be after twilight in the night. Is that?
Actually, there is there's a, if you're someone is interested, there's a whole book and ISKCON devotee has written about what is the auspicious time to actually do it. And it's like this thick book just on to understand Garbhodam Sanskar and how to find the right time. So that actually tithis one can see. And he actually explains in such a way that even, those who do not know astrology can actually see, okay, this is my nakshatra I was born, so hence this is the time. And it's like a whole science. And imagine you're bringing a life in this world, such like a whole new person, like a person is actually coming into our life. So shouldn't that be taken so seriously where you really consider auspicious time, what is our mentality in which we are uniting? Everything has to be considered. And if you really consider, then the child which the soul which is attracted will be a soul which is like, very pure, a devotee of Krishna, or someone who is like, very elevated. But if it's just done randomly, then it will attract that kind of soul, someone who is in the lower modes or a demoniac soul or things like that. So it's a whole science. Okay, so let's just do let's just do the English translations for the next few verses and then we'll stop till 37. Just quickly go through the translations. I don't think so. We are just reading about this imaginary woman that the demons are actually imagining the twilight to be. Right? And it talks about, yeah. Okay. Next. 30.
Had thus projected upward because of their clinging to each other, and they were too contiguous to admit any intervening space. She had a shapely nose and beautiful teeth. A lovely smile played on her lips, and she cast a sportful glance at the asuras.
So, all these verses of Bhagavatam is just like, it's like, this is the demoniac nature of looking, that's what they focus on. So that's the point. 31.
Adorned with dark tresses, she hid herself, as it were, out of shyness. Upon seeing that girl, the asuras were all infatuated with an appetite for sex. Hare Krishna.
Okay, next verse. Who's next?
Hare Krishna. The demons prized her. Oh, what a beauty! What rare self-control! What a budding youth! In the midst of us, us all, who are passionately longing for her, she is moving about like one absolutely free from passion. Hare Krishna.
3.
Hare Krishna. indulging in various speculations about the evening twilight, which appeared to them endowed with the form of a young woman. The wicked-minded Asuras treated her with respect and fondly spoke to her as follows.
There's all imagination. It's just twilight time, but they're just imagining, oh, this is a beautiful woman. The clouds they are seeing, oh, the cloud is like the hip of a nice woman. Right? The birds are chirping, oh, ankle bells of a woman. That's how they're just imagining all this because they are so lusty. Right? Okay, next, 34.
Who are you, O pretty girl? Whose wife or daughter are you? And what can be the object of your appearing before us? Why do you tantalize us, unfortunate as we are, with the priceless commodity of your beauty?
Saying like, we want to obtain you, but you are like priceless. So why are you tantalizing? Like, we want to get you, but you're so priceless that you're not coming to us. So, and Prabhupada makes a point that this is a mentality of demons. Just to enjoy the opposite sex, they are willing to pay any price. And we see that, right? Like, like if there's a Hollywood star, even to just get like one glimpse from a distance, maybe like 50 feet away, people will spend thousands of dollars to buy a ticket. Oh, just to see, oh, this so and so good, Or the even more ridiculous than that is like people buy like, oh, this coat has been worn by, or this shirt has been worn by so and so actor, and they spend thousands of dollars just to buy a shirt that the person has worn. It's like, God, like it's like so ridiculous. Like, what is the sense there? You're willing to spend thousands of dollars just to get like a cap worn by this baseball hero. Yeah, it's like senseless, right? So Prabhupada is taking, they're willing to pay any price just for that. Oh, imagine the beauty or pleasure and so on, right? Okay, 30, let's see, 35, 36, 37. Just read translation.
320-35. Whosoever you may be, O beautiful girl, we are fortunate in being able to see you. While playing with the ball, you have agitated the minds of all onlookers.
So the sun, twilight time, the sun sets, right? So sun is setting, and they're thinking that sun is like a red ball that the girl is playing. That is their mentality, and they're saying like, because you're playing with the ball, you're actually, agitating our minds. Okay. Prabhupada in the purport, he also talks of like, sometimes in sports like tennis, we play with the opposite sex, but underlying, like, why do they arrange all this? Just to, have that glimpse of the opposite sex and so on. Prabhupada stress on that. Okay, next verse. 36.
O beautiful woman, when you strike the bouncing ball against the ground with your hand again and again, your lotus feet do not stay in one place. Oppressed by the weight of your full-grown breast, your waist becomes fatigued, and your clear vision grows dull as it were. Pray braid your comely hair.
Okay, and then one more, just read.
The Asuras, clouded in their understanding, took the evening twilight to be a beautiful woman showing herself in her alluring form, and they seized her.
Okay, so this is actually the whole section of demons and then demons. So it's just imagination, and and this is actually showing why is this entire section actually described, just to make the point that demons, this is the tendency they have. This is a thought process of demon. Like people who are attached to sex, everywhere they see, they're just thinking of these parts. Oh, nice hair, breasts, everything. That's the mentality. Right, and we see from this, it is actually a creation of the demons, by Brahmaji, and that demoniac mentality is actually come to other living entities. Right, so we have to get rid of this mentality, and that can be obtained. We can get rid of it only when we actually experience that higher pleasure, param drishta nivartate, right? The higher pleasure of serving Radha and Krishna. Okay, so stop here. So the remaining chapter also is kind of similar. It's like not so many purports, but then he talks of creating Gandharvas, Apsaras, Bhuta, Pishas, and then finally he comes to creation of Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. So all that entire section we have already covered is maybe a little bit like here, this entire, all these demon, yaksha, that was not described before, but that's being described now. But finally, it will come to Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. And then the next chapter will actually start. Okay. We'll stop here. Thank you all so much. Any comments, final comments, questions?
Prabhuji, I like the point that you said that we disapprove, but we don't disown. And this we read about how Prabhupada is writing in the purport that the uncivilized men are scattered all over the universe. And we are seeing that, right? How they are killing up. The people are hanging their bodies on the bridges, right, in Bangladesh. No? We strongly disapprove, but still we don't disown.
Actually, that book, he has written this book and he has like, I think 11 or 12 stories from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramayana, Bhagavatam, where he talks about these points. Disapprove, but not disown. Right? And it's very nice actually. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I just want to share that this whole description may seem like, oh, why are they describing all of this about this? They're visualizing this as a beautiful woman, and I was thinking that it's like, you know, in this world, when we hear in this world, these things are like glorified, like, oh, the beauty, and like even in movies or advertising, it's all like glorified. But here, Bhagavatam is showing that it's just imagination, like it's like just illusory, and it's attracting lower class people, not high class people. So it's kind of like contrasting, because then Brahma again is going to give up this, and then more auspicious things are going to come. So like Bhagavatam is showing this is not glorious, it's actually demoniac. So it's, I don't know, it's just showing that contrast. Something that we consider so wonderful is actually really not considered wonderful in the Bhagavatam.
I mean, I like your point that how you said finally it's all illusory. Prabhupada actually, one of the purpose I didn't mention in the previous verses, he makes a point that a devotee, he actually knows that what is all this I'm getting attracted to? It is just flesh and bones and blood and stool, right? Everyone knows the story of liquid beauty, right? Everyone knows the story of liquid beauty? No? Go to YouTube and search liquid beauty Srila Prabhupada. I won't tell that story, but liquid beauty, and you know. And should I tell it? Okay, quickly. So this person is attracted to a lady, right? She's like, oh, so beautiful. And she said, I just want to unite with you. And then the lady said, okay, come back in 1 week. Prabhupada tells the story in his classes. And then in 1 week, she takes lots of laxatives and, you know, things. And then she like, you know, she passes everything. And then she was so weak and old and Prabhupada said, it's like kind of a little bit like, you know, like disgusting, but it's like, and then she stores all those things that she actually gives out from her body. Like so disgusting. You know, heard the story? It's so surprising. It's like liquid beauty. You just search it as that. Like Prabhupada often talked about this, you know, and then after 1 week, the man comes and he sees this old woman and he says like, oh, where is that lady? Said, I'm here. Said, no, I want that beauty. I said, okay, it's there in the pots behind. How disgusting is that? But this is the reality, right? I'm surprised you've not heard about liquid beauty, but this is the reality. You know? So it's true, it's just illusory, right? All this attraction. A real attraction is Radha and Krishna. Right? That is a real attraction. Okay. Anything else? Let's stop otherwise.
Prabhu, I was thinking when as you know, I was remembering how, you know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells that the glasses of colored glasses that you wear, you see everywhere with the same color. Yeah, so that's what is happening here, all the demons also. But you know, my personal experience is like when I was pregnant, Prabhu, I was seeing everyone pregnant around me. When I had a child, I was seeing child strollers everywhere. Like, you know, now I see kids growing up everywhere. Like, is it like all the same time everybody was pregnant in the world? You know? It's like how mind is continuously contemplating on one thing, and that's what he projects around everywhere.
Yeah, so true. And then, the same we can take on the side of Radha Krishna. The mind
Right.
so absorbed, if chanting is good, then everywhere we see, right? So what is that shloka? Tara Jangama dekhi, na dekhi Tara Murti, Ishta Deva Spurti. Wherever we see, oh, this is Krishna's manifestation. This is my Lord Radha Krishna. You see sometimes in the clouds some particular shape. Like, wow, looks like Govardhan. Looks. And then there's a link, anyone who wants to see Liquid Beauty. It's just like a 2 minutes video. I'm surprised you have not seen it. But it's like a animation, they have done it. But it's just like a cartoon animation. But it's famous. I think Bhakti Samsai Thakur actually told this story. Prabhupada is repeating. The link is there on chat.
Actually, there is a book, Prabhu, of that is coming up soon that has all the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stories.
Yeah.
Those which he used to quote. Those are like, yesterday mother saw the clouds. Is he looking like Krishna?
That's our mood, right? That's our mood. Okay, so stop here. Thank you so much. Shri Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya, Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namo. Thank you all so much for your association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the Hari Katha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.